Welcome back to Stage 2, Challengers Elite for the European region. It's playoff time, Vengeance versus Doge Nation. We're here in the Search and Destroy. If you're wondering why we didn't see a hard point, well, we did earlier on. It was a 250 to 224 win for Team Vengeance over Doge Nation. However, some issues arose, and we're finally jumping back into our winner round 1 series. So my name is McCormiel, with me is Cash. 55 seconds left here in the first round of the Search and Destroy. Of course, that mini-map is going to be blocked upon player request.
Getting a feel here for this one. If we, as we're jumping back in this, like you said, Vengeance taking that map number 1, a very crucial hard point for them to snag. Now, as we're here in the Search and Destroy, it's going to be Wardy trying to get the bomb down. 14 Vengeance here. Still a 4v4 situation. So a bit of time into the round and no one having fallen. This should be a bloodbath here on this A site soon.
Sniper over the top. Haz wasn't able to find the shots. Henry will be able to find the first blood here thus far. 30 seconds left on a retake. 4 versus 3 trying to get back onto the site. Denza, slowly, surely, just watching all the way to the flank. Couple players now trying to recoup back over towards the site. With 20 seconds left, the second kill will come through. 3 versus 2, now it's a 1 versus 3. Wardy goes for another, draws down the hallway with the pistol. Doesn't realize the last player's on the bomb. Looks to the left, oh, it's a 1 versus 4 there at the end. Absolutely bonkers to start this off. Well, welcome to European Call of Duty, folks.
Players just lined up there for Wardy and then got the read on the bomb there for the last player, the ace in the round. A 1v4 as well. Way to kick the action back off. I mean, that's definitely a way for it to go. So Vengeance, they'll find themselves up 1-0 early on here. I feel like more than one round, that was just a big swing of momentum and just energy for the squad. You come back after a little bit of a break and you get a round like that. I think if you're Doge Nation, it feels like a little bit more than a round's worth of work you have to do.
Well, as we calm ourselves down here for the second round of Search and Destroy, usually don't have a pop-off like that in the first round of an S&D. With Wardy on 4 in a row, potentially looking for streaks a little bit further down the line. Denza will open things up here with the first blood in the round. Bomb's going to go down over towards that A site as well. So as you start making your way all the way back, has some good positioning here on the defensive side of things, but unfortunately you got to retake this site. First couple of players now going to be making their way over towards it. Everybody pushing from the same portion of the mini-map now. They make their way forward. Player number 7 starting to make the pinch from the middle of the map. Henry, one-on-one gunfight, isn't able to find the shots in for the kill. Around the corner, Denza's going to slide out. 2 versus 2. 18 seconds left. Another potential clutch here on the defensive side. You'd hope to say so here for Doge Nation to tie things up at 1 apiece. But now it's Whalers in a 1 versus 2. Wee Man, Denza, 9 seconds left. You just got to hop the bomb. Now you're going to be Denza all the way from behind. You're not going to be able to get the kill in time, though, so the bomb will go through. Doge Nation will be able to take the offensive round win. Vengeance, unfortunately, weren't able to clutch for the second time in a row.
I would have liked to have seen that play also. Just wait a second longer. I know the clock was getting close, but I think Denza could have gotten there just in time before Wayman could have got killed off and still had the time to get the bomb. But you see that kill coming in just a moment too late. Whalers doing a good job just holding that spot, really just trying to milk the clock and get that last player off. Denza not enough time to get across the hall and make a play. Again, would have liked to see that play a little bit differently. Doge Nation, they respond very well on their offensive round on the A site. Now we're going to look to see, do Vengeance opt to run this the same way? Are they going to look to try to get clearance on B? Doge Nation are probably expecting an A hit, but what we can see here, very decisive look towards B. Tax coming out. They're going to be looking to cross.
15 seconds off the clock. Denza's going to be the first one to get picked off the board. Whalers in the way of Automaton will find the first blood here in the round. So as Wee Man goes ahead, tries the Stallion to find the bomb. Look to have all the way in the back. Whalers, yet another kill from up top on the perch in top fire. That was a 2 versus 4 here, Cash. A lot of work to do. You got to get the bomb, get it down, but of course, find a couple of kills. That's just beautiful shots from Abuza. Wardy, I mean, maybe another 1 versus 4. You can certainly try it, but Doge Nation will find their second round in a row.
That was just Whalers and Abuza. They had that B street locked down, and it just seemed like the players for Vengeance were they were picking them off one by one. They did that for 3 lives in a row as they just kept trying to get that bomb over at Tank, trying to pick it up and keep going. They just had those lanes locked. The other couple of players held it down, were able to find Wardy over at A, so the B hit gets stuffed up. Vengeance, we'll see on their next offensive hit if they want to try to go back to what was working for them, at least that first time around. Doge Nation now have to respond as well. On their offensive hit, Abuza is going to pick it up, start to work over to this A site where they did find success the last time around, maybe try to pull off a round that's a bit more clean than the first time, find the picks that they need to, but the first bloods have really been one-sided, whether it's one team or the other. Definitely been decisive in these rounds.
Uzo will escape with a life. Doge Nation trying to make their way back over towards A. The last time they were on offense, it worked out perfectly for them. This time, though, Wardy trying to shut things down will be able to find the first blood in the round. So 30 seconds off the clock now. Rotation back out and toward their spawn side over towards B. Little do they know that Haz is going to be waiting here with an automaton. So if you want to push out the back, you're going to have to run into 2 players. A massive pinch all the way around the map. Wardy down below is looking to make a play. It's a 2 versus 4 with a bomb in the top of mailroom.
Vengeance just looked to be in position. They read this rotation over to B perfectly. Whalers is able to find a pick, but being in the mid-map and having to work back over for bomb, these players have it locked. Has that play ended up coming into effect, being ready for the cross to pick off that last player. So now Vengeance respond. We go 2-2 in the S&D. It's just been good reads on defense. The offensive rounds have won the first couple of them, but here on defense, Vengeance make a wonderful read. They kill the players on the 8 side, know this rotation has to be going back over, and have players in position to take them down. Now on offense, they're going to look to try maybe something a little different than that B Street look. It didn't really come out to much success. Or, hey, if you're going to go that way, you at least got to find the picks to go along with it. You know Doge Nation's going to play deep with those automatons. They're going to try to rip you off before you can cross. We'll see if they opt to play that a little bit differently. But Wee Man trying to get some information over on this A side. It's going to be a B look early. Ooh, scratch that.
Little bit of a fake there. Doge Nation. They're a bit wise to it, though. Pick up the trail, start making a couple of players rotate back over towards that A site. Wee Man with the first blood yet again here from Vengeance. You have that bomb worked and pushed all the way up and towards that A building. You'll start to back off yet again. You could make the wrap back over towards B here, Cash. It would be a bit of a desperate play, too, knowing that you have at least a man advantage over towards that B site. But little do they know that Whalers is still over towards that opposite side. So here comes the push. 45 seconds left. Henry just laying down. Slow and passive. Sturdy will win the race.
And with 40 seconds here, they have to get site control. You don't really have time to make a wrap back over to B. Wardy's going to pop out here, try to dance around these statues and get BB Connor. Does just that. So now, almost complete site control. Henry's still running around. That will be complete site control. They're going to get the A-bomb down here. Whalers left in a 1v4 to try to get this. So they used a bit of the clock, but it ended up paying off for them once they got that site control. Whalers now has to work from the back. They know where he's at. This should be a round win if they just hold their lanes and play their spots.
Every angle, every lane cut off for potential retake here from Whalers. You're just trying to cut a couple players off of potential streaks. Maple, though, playing the long angle is going to be able to cut the Whalers down. So with that there, Vengeance will take their second round straight. Cash, overall, again, if you are just joining us here on the broadcast, for those of you at home watching, it is second map here. We didn't play the first map, at least at the current time. It was played a little bit earlier on the day before a little bit of a mishap happened on the technological side of things. So earlier on, it was a 250 to 224 hardpoint win for Team Vengeance. Doge Nation trying to tie the series up 1 apiece. On the opposite side of the bracket, we are still in winners round 1 of the European region. It was the side of Rocker Academy that took down Toronto Ultra Academy on the European side of things. So they will be moving on to that second winners bracket, and of course North America is still yet to play later on in the day. First round of offense here, though, yet again for Doge Nation, trying to go ahead and stop the bleeding after 2 rounds in a row that went to the side of Vengeance. 15 seconds off the clock. Bomb rotating back over towards B, though. This is actually a beautiful play, but Maple just might be able to get the read.
Has a great position. That's definitely one on the cross that he sees. Just trying to wait for one more. Gives up the angle he has, but knows someone crossed. So Vengeance, those comms are relayed. They're saying, hey, this might be swinging back this way. Let's keep eyes. Still a couple players for Doge Nation in the mid-map to be weary of. Beautiful grenade comes in, and Wee Man picks off another one. So now 4v2. Bomb down. I mean, this A play, or this B hit is all but stalled at this point.
If you're Henry, you're at least making a flank play. Wardy, going to be able to raid it, but Whalers goes a big for 2. So now it's a 2 versus 2. All the way in the back, though. Both players from Vengeance are now together. You know where Whalers is, but Whalers knows where both of these last 2 players are. Around the corner. Wardy's going to be there. Shots onto the top. The mantle might have gotten in the way. Vengeance will win yet another round in a row. That would have been huge for Doge Nation to tie up the S&D. What would have been a beautiful 2 versus 4 clutch there. Unfortunately, stalls at the very end with Wee Man taking a nice one-on-one gunfight.
The fact that both players were together, though, did allow them to play that trade. So that's just good from Vengeance. They went down, hunted the player back. That was over in P4, and that's why they're able to play the trade there. Almost done by Whalers at 9-5 now. After 6 rounds, Wee Man at 7-5. Just 2 players having their way here on Berlin. It's panning out a little bit better for Vengeance as they've just been able to work the picks better and shut down these rotations from Doge Nation. Now they're going to try this B hit again, but early. It's going to be Abuza already at this B site. Whenever he wants to pounce, he can. But the bomb going down for Vengeance.
Doesn't realize that the bomb goes down just yet, though. You're trying to break out the doors. Abuza gives away his position. Is going to be able to take the first gunfight, escape around the corner. Can now just play the banister. Has, though, going to be able to find the shots from across the map. Again, that is Maple, for anybody who is wondering. 4 in a row here from Weeman. Henry now looking to push up the map. Would be another 2 versus 4 essentially here from Doge Nation. They're going to be able to find the second one now, even at 2 versus 2. 25 seconds left. You know, the spot of one player, Maple all the way in the back building. Going to jump around the corner. Henry won't be able to find the shots. More kills come in. The S&D ball continues to roll with a 5-2 lead. We're now at match point. And of course, Vengeance on the verge of having a 2-0 series lead.
This would be really big for Vengeance to take this round and close it out here. Like you said, they've been on a roll now at what is 3 or so rounds straight. Doge Nation have yet to be able to piece together a response where they have positioning on the map, or as we saw there, Booza up on that B site was able to get 1 kill sure after the bomb was planted, but unable to play his life after that, got picked, and someone else fell around the map, so they just aren't able to play their lives to the best effectiveness. As Con's going to stand down from that one, seeing the sniper glint. It's just been Vengeance who've been playing their lives in their situations a little bit better.
Over towards the B site. Doors are going to open. Weeman's going to spot Booze in towards the site. Going to wrap back off. Longer range head glitch. Could serve enough for a first blood. Plenty of time to work this still over towards the A and or the B site. But now that you got that first pick, all you have to worry about is Weeman. You've got positioning over towards top third. Got a couple more players now working their way back over towards this B site. The only player that you don't know the location of is player number 2 in Wardy, making the flank all the way around to the backside spawn. Could be the catalyst for a potential retake here, but in the 2 versus 4, you're going to have to go big here with 40 seconds left.
Wardy's got to at least find 2 picks here. The bomb is going down. A 4v2 situation is already pressed up with a sniper onto the site. So doesn't find the pick. Wardy is able to get 1, but you're pinned on the site. A pinch is coming in. You get a hit marker, unfortunately, and Wardy falls in the back. So just a really hard situation like you were alluding to. It was a 4v2. Maple only had the sniper on the site. Just didn't quite have the gunfights or the guns that you needed for that one. So Doge find a way to stop the bleeding. They respond. But for them, it's got to be 3 rounds straight to be able to win this.
It's almost an impossible round, too. I mean, you push the sniper all the way up in towards the B shed. You missed that first shot. The hit marker on the second would have been great. You might have been able to get out, escape, find a gun. But when Wardy falls in the back there, it's just a 1 versus 3 with a sniper and a pistol. And you're not going to win that 9 times out of 10, especially when you're in a close range engagement over at that B site. It is going to be a B hit, though, here from Vengeance. Aggressive on the offensive side. Nobody's going to be there to stop it, though. They're going to get out of dodge scot-free as Doge Nation is now going to be forced to rotate on over. Wardy, none the wiser, is going to be able to go ahead, find a few shots there. Won't finish the kill out, but with 40 seconds left, the first blood will go to Bazoo.
They're making this wrap through mid-map. Abu's able to get 1. Playing the trade, and now it's going to be a 2v2 situation. So we go pinstripe, and the kill feed. Bomb is down, and really have about 20 seconds now, less than that, to work with to get this bomb defused for Doge Nation. So it was quick and fiery to kick off those first bloods. Now it's slowed down. Den's able to get the read on Abuza there. A 1v2 situation. No time left to defuse the bomb. Whalers, no time to make a play, even if you can find 1. This one's over. Vengeance find themselves up 2-0.
Whalers in the back. It's a consolation kill there. You spot Maple out all the way towards the back portion of the map, but unfortunately there, Doge Nation won't be able to capitalize on what could have been a 2 versus 2 retake. Both players from Vengeance a bit more spread out, but a 6-3 search and destroy win, as Cash alluded to beforehand, will give Vengeance a 2-0 lead here inside of the series. So we'll recuperate all of our thoughts and whatnot on this series. But again, if you are just joining us, I know it's a bit jarring to go and hop directly into a search and destroy at the beginning of a series. But again, this is because earlier on the hard point was played. We had some technical issues in the background. Now, of course, we are playing here instead of the search and destroy. So overall, welcome. Welcome to European Stage 2 playoffs. It's round number 1 still. Again, on the opposite side, it was decided Toronto Ultra Academy that did fall to Rocker Academy here in Europe. So now they're in the winners finals. We're waiting for the side of Vengeance and Doge Nation to finish this one out, but it's kind of stories will go as they continue to be written. Vengeance with a 2-0 lead, looking to close things out as the number 1 seed. History could repeat itself, and well, they could be looking at a winners finals.
They could. I mean, that scoreline for the first map was 250 to 224. Obviously, this one finishes in a 6-3 fashion. So they've been relatively close games. That search and destroy definitely slipped away when Vengeance were able to rip off 4 straight rounds. So having a look at these S&D stats, I mean, it was Wardy and Weeman who started things off hot. Wardy who ended things hot for the side of Vengeance. And then really Whalers was the one trying to do it all for the team. Just wasn't enough as they fall in that 6-3 fashion. But does anything stand out to you here, Corn?
I mean, really, no. The only thing that I could really say though is like maybe a jarring look is Whalers at 12-7 on the
Yeah.
opposition. Really standout game for Whalers, but we come to expect that in Search and Destroy in a lot of margins. So Doge Nation, unfortunately, you fall there in the Search and Destroy, but we can't really talk about some sort of like a momentum swing for maps number 1 and 2 because of how far apart they were played. But I mean, overall in this series, we look to a map number 3 now. We look to a Control where, yeah, Vengeance, who has a history of being able to close out series in 3, has the opportunity to do so here on Tuscan, and that's exactly what you're going to hope for if you are a fan of Vengeance. On the opposite side, though, again, although the Search and Destroy wasn't close there, we look back to the current trends of Respawn back in map 1 with a 250 to 224 game, with only a 25-point loss there. You do look to the side of Doge and say, okay, you're a competent Respawn team. You're competent enough to go ahead and tie this, or maybe not tie this series up, but at least start a reverse sweep hopes going into map number 3, and of course trying to force a map number 4. And if you want to stay alive in the winners bracket, well, that's exactly what you have to do. Overall, though, Cash, I think it's a very doable situation, but at the same time, I also think Vengeance is very capable of closing this out in a 3-0.
I think they are as well, and like you had mentioned, that hard point, I mean, that just comes down to even scrap time or just some small mistakes that you make. And of course, at a level this high, those will cost you games, and in turn, those can cost you series. So like you said, we didn't get eyes on that hard point here, but knowing how that one played, though, based on the scoreline and everything that we do have for it, it's something they can come back and do. You just tighten up what you need to. I mean, hardpoint and Control, the respawns play the same here. I know for Control, we do have a change on Tuscan with some of those spawns being a little bit closer, but you know how it plays. You know what you've got to do at this level. That's what's expected of you, and so it's a matter of, can you piece it all together. Again, this Vengeance team's very capable and willing to close this one out in a 3-0 fashion. Doge Nation, it's got to be big for the Control to be able to start this reverse sweep, but you know what you have to do. You know, we can sit up here and spell out all the different things that they might need to do to pull this off. They've got that in their minds. It's just a matter of execution, especially at this level. Execution is the biggest portion.
Yeah, well, I mean, specifically when we talk about Vanguard, Control typically goes down to that 5th round. That's just kind of how things play out at this point. I guess it's finally time to allude you guys to the changes that were made inside of Control specifically, and we're finally, after weeks of talking about the change that is upcoming, finally now have the change deployed inside of Vanguard. It's no longer kills in the final round that will decide offense and defense. It is finally the amount of ticks overall, kind of like what we saw inside of Cold War, that are going to obviously decide that defensive round for round number 5. So, Cash, that is going to change the way things play out a bit before, because, obviously in the first few weeks of Control, we were in the general sense of, okay, let's play a little bit of team deathmatch. If we are going to go 2-2 down to the end, who's going to have the most kills here? Now it's a different story where you're playing for progression, and you have to be that much more aggressive on the offensive side.
Yeah, playing for progression is going to be a great thing. I'm most excited to see what kind of creativity that brings out of teams, right? You're not going to get punished for trying to make a creative play, because if you get wiped, it doesn't matter as much. It doesn't carry as much weight. Of course, you give up that map positioning. But I'm really interested to see how teams look to switch up different looks that you can throw. Given that we only have 2 maps, I do expect to see some different plays come through as far as, again, just that creative aspect of, hey, let's just throw a look. Even if, it's that high risk, high reward. Of course, you see teams still take that in Control. But whenever they have the slang in their favor, that's definitely less of a high risk play for them. But knowing that teams can really just go out, say, let's just throw a different look, see if it opens up this portion of the map, and not get punished for it as heavily. I'm excited to see who brings it out. And of course, this is our first Control that we've seen with this update, so we'll see how exactly teams look to do. It's a little soon to say maybe they have fully fleshed out strats, but that's what I'm most excited for, given that it's going to ticks. Teams are just going to get a lot more creative and see a few different looks around the map.
Cash, can I just say, I love the graphical package that we have. Every time I get to look at this, I just am always just so impressed with the team in the background that's doing all this stuff for the ClutchGG stream. So big shout outs to them, big ups to everybody that's involved inside of ClutchGG, making things possible here on the community side of things. But as Doge Nation and Vengeance go back and forth at it yet again, Vengeance with a 2-0 lead. First blood not on the board just yet. It is going to go to the hands of Wee Man, though. So Team Vengeance, they continue the trend from the Search and Destroy. Another first blood. They've got 3 players all the way over at B already.
Very aggressive look over here. They get a kill. Booze on P5, and now they have almost 2 ticks of progression here before Doge Nation can even respond. Doge Nation do go 3 for 1 and clear them out, so that is only going to be 1 tick of progression. And now these Vengeance players off spawn are flying at this A site, maybe sending one more player over here, since was able to get that kill. That's going to allow for Wardy to come up and supplement this and fight a big 1v1 here on this B site, just to allow someone to stay over here. But Player 6 and Henry is wrapped around the back and playing spoiler on this A site. So you take a first hit if you Doge, you adjust, you do what you need to, and now you've got map control again.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great break-off for Vengeance, but again, to your point, Doge Nation has come back and has been able to at least equalize the map a bit further. Maple was able to find 2 straight kills. Henry will bounce on back. Doge Nation over towards A, trying to go ahead, clear all the progress that was made. No headway there just yet, but as I say that, Vengeance get back over onto the site. 3 arrows going to be over in stacking. Players number 8 and 6 trying to rotate on back. If you are the side of Doge Nation right now, you're basically just giving this one up. You realize and recognize, okay, 20-19 in terms of the lives. Maybe we get one last hit at this, and you finally will. It's a slow push that allows you to go ahead, dwindle a little bit more time off the clock. Only 2 ticks a day, a bit of progress over at B, but again, as we alluded to beforehand, that could come back to bite the side of Doge Nation in the butt if we get to that round number 5.
It could. Doge Nation, they have had great map positioning this entire time. I mean, we saw Whalers push all the way up on roof side, cutting players down. So keeping these players just from being able to attack these points, we should see this 3rd tick start to come through. But again, it's Doge Nation just with clean clearance on the site. Vengeance really throwing lives at it off of spawn, and Doge Nation moving well through the mid-map to cut these players down. So 4 total ticks of progression come in. It's going to be one last look at B for Vengeance, but it's Doge Nation on the other side. Taking care of business, I say that, and kills start to come through for Vengeance.
Spotted out, Denzel's going to be able to pop around the corner, helps the teammate out in radio. That's going to allow players to still be spawned up and close for Vengeance over towards that B site. Again, you can still add a minute onto the clock with either A or B, so this round is not a lost cause whatsoever, but you only have 5 lives remaining and 1 respawn to do just that. Over at B, though, Head Glitch, not going to be there. Abuza, going to be able to find the first kill. Weeman there, won't be able to find the second. Oh, so close to being able to get that 3rd bit of progress over on that B zone. But as I say that, they flip the side around, they go back over towards A, they'll add an extra minute onto the clock, and sure, it's a 2 versus 10, and you're really not trying to go ahead and win the round off of this, but it is going to give you a lot of headway into that round 5 if we do get there, because right now you have 5 and maybe a bit more of zones progress ticked. Of course, Doge Nation on a defensive side, as we've come to expect on Tuscan, will be able to take the first round.
And yeah, as you said, even though they got outslayed, it was not about being able to win the round in that 2v10 situation, but just maximizing the amount of ticks that they have. You know, you get 5 out of 6 total ticks of progression. You hope that that can be something that comes to help you out if this goes the distance in that round 5. So on defense, it's going to be Vengeance turn to respond, and on this break-off, Doge Nation, they're flying at the A site. All 4 players, attacks are coming out. They're looking to get progress early and make a break-off to B once they can do this, but it's attacks coming through for Vengeance. Doing some work early.
Nice little pick there. Abuza will find one with a nade. Back and forth, pinstripe kill feed. Whalers all the way on the back. Hey, say hello to Maple. Might be on a different account, but he can still shoot exactly the same. 4 in a row. First bit of progress over at the A site. All they have right now, though, is they rotate back over towards B. Abuza is going to be the first one pushed up. Connor there as well. Weeman in the corner, going to be able to find that first kill. Tries to escape up and towards top radio with a life. Unfortunately, won't be able to do so. So now B, going to be stacked. A couple players off the respawn. Nobody going to be there to at least stop that first bit of progress. You're actually going to be looking at 2 ticks of progress here over on B early on inside of the round. A minute left. You don't even have an extra minute added onto the clock just yet. You're trying to get it over at B, just ticking the lives off the clock. It's been great slaying out of Doge Nation so far, but as Has will now go on 5. Maple is heating up as the rest of the team Vengeance is now trying to go ahead and find their way back on the defensive side.
And what I'm noticing early on with it being ticks of progression, it just seems like all 4 players, either team on offense, have been doing the same thing. They've just been swinging all 4 players to each site because it doesn't really matter if you get wiped. You're just trying to stack and get as much progression as you can. Of course, the gunfights have been going either way. You know, you've won some here on one site, won some on the other. But once again, on the defensive side, the team, which is Vengeance here, will hold true. They'll get the kills, clearance on the site. Now less than 30 seconds left. Doge Nation, they have to make a play. They're swinging back over to B, knowing they just need 1 tick of progression. All they need is a couple of kills to go their way, and they don't to be able to do that. So now you're back to square one. The first push player is Abuza. He's got to find a big pick here, but he's going to turn around and start to stop this clock. Hope some teammates can get up to him.
It looks like a mirror flip of what we saw on the offensive drive there from Team Vengeance. Collapsing back over towards zone 19-9. Abuza will be able to find the first pre-fire to Weeman. Won't be able to find it. Pistol's going to be able to go ahead and clean up the player. 4.5 seconds left. You're trying to go in for the contest. Time will be stopped, though. Wardy around the corner will get cut down by Henry, so you go back and forth. You're finally going to be able to get back over towards that A site. However, you got to find these last couple of kills. Denzel will be the first one to fall here on the side of Vengeance. Looking back to middle map, Abuza, who's been so good, has been able to find 2. Now, for the final bit of progress, you're not going to send another body here. Maybe you go in for a quick contestation here, but you don't expect the player to find 3. Extra minute onto the clock, 11-5. Only 1 respawn remaining. And back over towards B. All you got to get is 1 tick. 1 good 4-man hit here. You've got yourselves a round win.
This looked just like Vengeance's offensive round, where it was 2-10, so a little bit better for your Doge Nation, a little more possible. Unfortunate team kill going to come in, and that could be costly as they make this rotation over. Now, no respawns remaining, but you have to go to the harder site this time around, and you only have 2 lives to do it. So, yeah, you need 1 clean wipe, but you've also got to hope your player gets across without getting picked off. These players holding down their lanes for Vengeance.
Okay.
And Abuza is doing the work needed, just his teammate. Get up here with me, Whalers, and we can get this done. Unfortunately, he falls in alley. Abuza going to be picked in the back, and they tried. It was a valiant effort, but having that harder sight and that hike to make across the map, Whalers just wasn't there to play supporting role.
You know, Cash, individual performances are something that can make or break a team. Right now, for Doge Nation, although he's tied with teammate and Henry in total kills combined, Abuza has been willing his way around the map in a way that I haven't seen a lot of players be able to do so. I know when we talk about EU versus NA, a lot of the talk is how fast European play is really in comparison, but Abuza has, at least in my eyes, kind of jumped that to level 10 here on Tuscan. The way he's been flying around the map, the way he's been moving around the map has just been beautiful, to say the very least. And I think if they want to go ahead and win this game, he's going to have to continue to do that going forward.
It's been fluid. It almost looks like Shotzi type movement, where it's just, again, knows where he wants to be on the map, gets to his spots to activate his own gameplay and in turn activate the team. And he's just been playing around this P5 area, but like you said, it's been smooth. Just the information he's been able to gather to set this team up for success has been wonderful. Already in fire off of spawn, and is able to pick up 1. Like, it's just a problem on the map that Vengeance have to always have an eye for off of spawn. It's allowing their teammates to hold it down on A, only 1 progression in, and 50 seconds to work with. So on the dominant side, it's been defense in the life department. Abuza leading the way for the team here, but really no one has been able to get good footing in the mid-map on the offensive side to give themselves movement from either site. So it's been 4-man hits back and forth, and right now Vengeance can't find footing, and Abuza holding it down on the other side of the map, not letting anyone cross. So A is going to have to be your hit if you're Vengeance. Now with 30 seconds left.
1 life disparity between 2 teams. Second bit of progress over at A is going to be confirmed. The last one should come through here in just a moment. All the way in the back, Doge Nation just trying to hold a couple of long angles with a few ARs to cut down Team Vengeance's push up the map. However, though, as that push was absolutely futile there, and the hold on the defensive side gets demolished instantaneously. Vengeance is now able to push their way over in towards the church. They're going to wrap back over towards the rest of the team, the reinforcements at the radio side. We'll say this, though. Abuza made a great play to wrap all the way back to the rest of the team. Can now play this all the way through the spawn. Whalers will get picked off. Weeman, who's now on 5 in a row. 2 more. You'll have a glide bomb.
Whalers has a big pinch opportunity here at top church, and I don't know if Denza's ready for it. Denza was, so 2 for 2 in the feed. This is the closest lives have been on an offensive round, and the most time for a team to make a play on another site. So if this works out for Vengeance, this could be huge, because this has just been the closest and most time afforded in an offensive round thus far. If Vengeance capitalize on it, it could definitely spell for success for the rest of the game. But Doge Nation, they hold on. They're hunkering back. They're not trying to press up the map at all, giving up a lot of control here. A pinch possible from Vengeance, but no, it's Abuza once again who strikes, chops down 2, and what was a 3v3 hit here through Church and Alley. Well, Denzel, your last one up. Now you gotta wait for reinforcements, and with 30 seconds left, it's not lives, but it's crossing this map and trying to make a play happen.
And you've maybe got 2 hits, especially if you hit this quickly, but realistically, you're probably just looking at 1 and then chaotic 1 after 1 hits. Beautiful nade cooked over the top, gets Abuza down. In the corner, though, Connor's going to be able to find a trade onto 1. Connor will go big for 2. Then it's going to be Maple, though. Wardy in the back. They made a pinch play back onto the site. Abuza will fall over towards the top of the radio. You look back to the church. Wardy can't win the one-on-one gunfight. MP40 from Henry, just too good. No one's going to be able to get onto that site and touch in time. It's going to be a Doge Nation win here on the defensive side. We've traded 3 quick rounds back and forth between one another. Should Vengeance win this defensive side, then we'll go down to ticks to decide the final round for round 5.
And that round to me came down to individual gunfights, and the big ones that needed one around the map were won by Doge Nation there at the end. Like you had said, turning the corner, the nade finds a pick, and you think Vengeance is going to fly through plat and find those kills, but tucked in the corner was BB Connor, who found not only 1 but 2 kills, and that just absolutely halted the play out of Vengeance on their attacks. So for Doge Nation, you're winning the key gunfights around the map that give you rounds. Can you replicate that on offense and get the first offensive win? Or does this go to round number 5? We'll find out. But off this break, Vengeance, they stand strong.
Slow push here, trying to find their way up the map. If you're Wardy, you should be able to give the rest of your team the information that the B hit is underway. 2 kills over towards that B site are going to be good. Now it's a fight between player number 3 and player number 6. Henry trying to play the life all the way in the back of the spawn. Pistol shots are going to be there. Weeman will find yet another kill. The king of doubles and triples has been Weeman throughout the series thus far. Zenza slaying directly there with the teammate. 2 players with 14, 2 players with 26. It looks great on the side of Vengeance. For Doge Nation, again, the slaying numbers have been there all game long, and yes, they do have themselves a 2-1 lead, but with 3 life disadvantage now, and that A site going over to the side of Doge Nation, they've got 2 minutes to get back over towards B, but again, Cash, we know how futile that can be and can prove to be for a lot of teams on the offensive side.
And these last couple of rounds have slowed down significantly, or at least teams not throwing as much on the A side. We saw little to no resistance there. Apart from the opening break, Vengeance didn't give that A side another look. Doge Nation were able to stack it. So, as you had mentioned, B site much harder to hit on this offensive control round, and what Connor did the last round on plat, Denza replicates here on defense. Stopping this play, Wardy on a pinch here, able to pick this player off stairs. So, they held on for the first hit. They're also up 6 lives. Just a minute and a half to hold on, trying to read where this next play is coming in from Doge Nation. And to win this round, if you're Doge Nation, you've got a couple of options. You either find the good kills and get the stack, or you work it slow and try to get around the map and set yourself in positions to push these spawns out. Looking through this church hit, they're just trying to find picks in the back. Nothing yet, just trying to work some kind of pinch, waiting for an opening, and no one's been able to find one for Doge Nation.
Oh, Wardy from behind. Weeman was able to get 1 too. Connor will trade out at least 1, so it's a 2-1 trade for Vengeance. Players now working their way back up the map yet again. But as the hits continue to slow down, the lives continue to dwindle. Vengeance looks strong as they continue to hold on. Wardy, Denza will find yet another 2-piece. Players now pushing up from Doge Nation over towards P5. Going to try and make their break all the way back over towards that B site. But again, time and time again, we see that B site be so hard to hit on the offensive side, especially in a situation where it's do or die for Vengeance in a control. 25 seconds left. This should be basically the last hit. That's going to be in a calculated effort.
And they win or lose on this hit. So far, the kill feed goes pinstripe, and if you're Doge Nation, you end up falling. The last player does, but that's a loss. You know, you have to go more than less in lives to be able to win that, because your players have to hike so far across the map to get that B site. So they banked it all on that last hit through P5. They didn't win the gunfights, and that's the round, plain and simply. Vengeance, they hold on, they push us to a round number 5, and now coming down to tick progression here. Yeah, this is gonna be a good round 5, but just Doge, they banked it all on that last plat hit.
Well, it's finally nice to see overall. The tick progression is what is going to dictate and decide round number 5. Team Vengeance, though, who have been so good on the offensive hits every single time. Both times I believe they were actually able to get that B site to 2 full ticks and not be able to finally complete it and win an offensive side, obviously, since we are now in round number 5. Either way, Weeman, once again, will open the round up. Maple will find 2 quick kills, and now everybody's going to be pushed back into that left side half of the map, except for Henry, who's making a play all the way around the back. Should you be able to find maybe 1-2 kills here? It could be huge. Weeman reads it perfectly, though. The stun check didn't find it at first. If you don't try it first, try again. You shall succeed the second.
I expect to see a lot more pressure out of Vengeance on this A side. They want to win this one for sure. So I expect to see kills like that going down 4 on the kill feed, the aggression that we know Vengeance can play with and where they can find success in these gunfights. They've been losing them to Doge Nation as of late. But right now, they're in takeover mode. Look at how far pressed up the map they are. I mean, they are in the opponent's zig, forcing these players to have to wrap their roof in P5. Now we see off spawn, they're making that rotation. So the stack's coming in. They've got to react quickly. But Vengeance, they're playing uber aggressive.
They got aggressive. They pushed up over towards their spawn site, but that allowed Doge Nation to spawn in that lower portion of the map. So now you've got 2 ticks of progress already over at B. Sure, you go ahead and you find 2 kills. Okay, Weeman, go ahead and find 3. Well, it was a problem for Vengeance at first, but for Weeman, a one-man walking army, it's absolutely no problem. You go back over towards that A site, 2 ticks of progress at B, but you still got 29 seconds to work with here. You have to get an extra minute on the clock. You're down by 9 lives. You've got one more good push at one of these 2 sites to try and get that extra minute. And guess who's there yet again to shut everything down? It's Weeman, who finds yet another double here on Tuscan. 39 kills with 25 deaths, 10 objective kills as well.
You called him the walking 2 or 3 piece. He's been just that and has been going huge for the team. You'd mentioned you were framing it up in a way that sounded bad, which was, well, if you give him the free B stack, doesn't matter. Weeman comes in, wipes them all, and now again, just with this aggression, so far pressed up on the side of Doge Nation, they can't even get off spawn without having an instant gunfight. They just turned it up to 10, and that's what you expect from Vengeance. When push comes to shove, they're going to take those gunfights, and they're going to win them. They do just that on defense in round 5 to win the series in a 3-0 fashion, and Denza here gets the final play, but it was behind Weeman. As you had mentioned, 40 kills. A wonderful game and a wonderful series from Weeman.
Next up on the docket here for the side of Vengeance is going to be Rocker Academy inside of the winners finals. You win that, you've got yourselves a guaranteed placement inside of the grand finals inside of the European region for stage 2. However, if you had any doubts that Vengeance was the #1 seed coming into this, I don't know why you would have, but if you did, that series right there was convincing at least enough to me to show why they should not only be moving on to the next round, but have really the gumption to take the entirety of the European region here for stage 2. Again, that doesn't mean we're done though. Overall, this was a 3-0 win by the side of Team Vengeance. Doge Nation will be falling down to the lower bracket. They will be playing up against the side of Toronto Ultra Academy. But for the time being, Cash, what a performance there inside of the Tuscan from Weeman. 41 kills to go ahead and secure the round 5 win. We'll take a look at statistics now, Cash, but overall, I'm marveling at what Vengeance was able to do in that final round.
I'm too. That control just played out so. The first 2 rounds seemed like they were super fast. I mean, we saw the life count. It was 10-2 at some point in both of the first 2 rounds. It slows down in the mid game. They start to let the A site go and really try to work some plays and picks over towards the B site. We kind of see some more traditional Tuscan, at least not as fast gameplay come out, and then they're in round number 5. Vengeance decided to turn it back up to 10. They were winning the gunfights at will around the map. They were pressed so far through the mid map that they didn't even give Doge Nation a chance to get any clean looks at the A side. They got 2 ticks of progression at B, and that was almost costly, but again, it was just huge gunfights, and what Doge had won in 1 round that could have spelled the map for them, it's the same thing that Vengeance do on the other side. They win the gunfights, they get it taken care of, and again, behind Weeman, I mean, 4,500 damage, 40 and 26, 31 non-traded kills. Like you said, a walking 2 or 3 piece. You don't get 31 non-traded kills unless you're popping 2 or 3 before you die. So wonderful playing of life, and a great job for Vengeance just switching up the pace entirely.
Taking a look at our maps one more time. We stated beforehand when we started the stream back up, Hardpoint on Berlin was played a little bit earlier on in the day. 250 to 224 was the score of that map. Then we got into the Search and Destroy when the series started back up. A 6-3 win for Vengeance is what we saw. And then for Tuscan Control, obviously there at the end, Vengeance did absolute beauty work when it came to clutching up in that final round there. But every defensive round was able to take every round in control. That leaves us with a 3-0 win overall. But again, as I said beforehand, Cash, we are not done. We're going to be following Vengeance into the winners finals here in the European side of things, and then of course North American will be coming in trickling down a little bit later down the line. Either way, any other thoughts on this series before we go ahead and send things to a quick break?
I'm excited to hop on board with Vengeance and see how they look to play. Again, #1 seed coming into this. Not sure who would have doubted that. And after seeing this tonight, I think they're going to keep on that spree and stay on that roll for the remainder of their series. So yeah, I'm excited to get back on board with them before we go to this break, or after we get back from this break. And we're in for a good night of EU COD, like you said, trickling over to NA, but we still got a lot of EU left.
Rocker Academy, Team Vengeance, the winners finals of the European region here for stage 2. You don't want to miss any of it. We'll kick back right where we are here in just a moment. We'll be back after a short break. My name is McCormill. That's Cash. Welcome back to Challengers Elite Stage 2. The European region is starting to heat up as we get into the winners finals. Rocker Academy, Team Vengeance. It's going to be a doozy of a match here. Game 5, potentially on the line. It's a little too early to tell at this point, but my name is McCormill. With me is Cash. Again, as I said beforehand, we got a banger of a matchup here. It is the winners finals of the European region. Cash, a lot of talk. Of course, the culmination of the entirety of Stage 2 has led us to this point. Where do we start here in the series?
We start with the fact that it's the 1 and 2 seed here, and start with how hot of a series Vengeance just came off of. The way they closed out that control in the round 5. You know they're coming into this one with that same kind of energy and tempo. So I'm excited to see as we go on in this series how they opt to play that, especially against Rocker Academy. But this is just a clash of the Titans. This couldn't be two better teams.
Absolutely. Well, overall, again, 1 versus 2 seed, Team Vengeance being that first seed overall. Let's take a look at Rocker Academy, though, overall, because this is a team that has not only come into this stage having a lot to prove, but more importantly, they've been playing lights out ever since. Coming overall with a 5 and 2 series record, you got Journey, Lucky, Metals, Real. And look, Cash, this is a team that inside of Stage 1 had so much presence all the time. They were a pleasure to watch game in and game out. I didn't even get the pleasure to cast over them at any portion during stage one, but just being able to watch some of the games that they were in. It's a team that's not only lights out, but at any given point, they can be the best team in Europe.
I couldn't have framed that up better myself. I mean, again, you look at Real as a 1.1 overall right now, and it's just, again, a team that can turn up at any point if they come out here and take the series in a 3-0 fashion. I wouldn't be shocked if we go to a game 5 and it comes down to a clutch play. I also wouldn't be shocked. Like you said, this Rocker Academy team, they have been lights out across Europe, and they've just been taking series as well in such dominant fashion. I mean, they find themselves here in winners finals up against Vengeance, and they want just that. They want Vengeance. They want to show that they're the best team in Europe, and they have the opportunity to do that here soon.
Well, Rocker looking for the 2-peat overall. 5-2 record again here inside of stage 2, 17-10 map win-loss with a 10-2 hard point record. That's the big standout, Cash, above everything else. S&D control, you look down there, a little subpar specifically when it comes to the search and destroy, but control, again, it can be a toss-up mode for a lot of teams, so 4-3 is not bad for it. But first overall, instead of the hard point at 10-2, you have to feel like map number 1, obviously they're going to come out with a lot of pizzazz. They should be able to take this with a 1-0 series lead, but against a team like Team Vengeance, we just saw them in their last hard point against the previous team of Doge. It's going to be a bit more difficult than that overall as well. So for Rocker Academy, you come off of a hot stage 1 win. You come into stage 2 auto qualification. Again, you're one of the best, if not the best team in Europe on a consistent basis. Team Vengeance, though, they're able to best you here overall inside of this season, where they were able to take a previous series 3-1 instead of the round robin. That was actually on day 4. So that was the most recent that we've been able to see both of these teams, obviously aside from what they just played instead of round 1.
Yeah, and for Rocker, you had mentioned, that first place hard point stat that they have in their series, or their hard point win-loss record, and you feel like they're going to come out and win this. They're going to take care of business in that respawn mode, but you almost feel like you also have to win it. It's nice to say that whenever you favor them, but you have to win because, again, this Vengeance team, as we have a look at them, they can take off with a series. And like you had mentioned, that first hard point, they won by 25 points. They have the upset potential here in the hard point mode to take it. So if you're Rocker, you feel good going into a hard point, but you can't sleep on this Vengeance team, and they can come out and take it with just enough energy if you don't come out swinging like they're gonna. But having a look at this squad, you got Denzi, Wardy, Maple, and Weeman. Again, another squad that has just been lights out across all European gameplay. A team that, even when they're not favored, can still pull things off. So someone you cannot discount. Again, I'm so excited to get into this series because these teams have so much to show us.
Not so much to show us, but again, Vengeance, they're trying to come out the best team in Europe from stage 1, get themselves atop of the leaderboard. And for Rocker Academy, again, it's the exact opposite. They're just trying to stay at the top. They're trying to stay dominant. So overall, you can see Wardy with a 1.27 KD for the side of Team Vengeance. Again, this player has been standout, but one player in particular that at least to me stood out inside of our last series against Doge was Weeman. It was very often around, especially on the Tuscan control when they needed him the most, where he did drop 40 kills, but it was that standout performance in maps 1, 2, and 3 that really projected Vengeance to the top of their previous opponent in Doge, sent them to the winners finals overall, and it was such a good performance that I want to harp on it more and more and more, but I guess we'll talk about that a little bit more as the games start to heat up. Overall, though, 6-1 series win-loss on the year, or rather on the stage. Map win-loss, it was 19-9, again, the best by far inside of the European region. Hardpoint, just shy of that first place spot at 9-4. Of course, you can't be the 10-2, which is almost perfect from the side of Rocker Academy, but you'll take the 4-4 inside of Search and Destroy and the best control record to boast with that second best hardpoint. It's nothing to scoff at and or sneeze at. So Team Vengeance, they look to go ahead, find themselves a series win here, advance to the grand finals, but it is going to be difficult, Cash, because, well, as we've already alluded to multiple times, of course, Rocker Academy winning stage 1, they're not just going to let this one slip through their fingers, even though they had a one less map win inside of the stage round robin than Team Vengeance did.
They're not going to let this one go. They want to stay atop. They want to be the kings of Europe. And again, I look at the Vengeance, their map win-loss records, and I feel like I prefer them over Rocker. Of course, Rocker, again, like you said, reigning champions and everything. But looking at that, where they stand first, fourth in the S&D, and then first in the control, you have to win these respawns if you're Rocker. I think this Vengeance team is just a little too nice this stage, and they really want to come out and show why they deserve to be at the top. So looking at it overall, I'm leaning Vengeance on paper. I mean, again, we saw them come off a half series. Again, of course, like I said, you can't scuff at Rocker in any way, but man, I mean, this team, they're looking sharp. I mean, this is a must-win respawn hardpoint for Rocker.
While we get everything fixed up in the background here, we'll jump into the game in just a moment, but talking a little bit more about the series as a whole. Again, Rocker Academy with a hard point record of 10-2. Cash, one of the things that I want to allude to more importantly than anything else is in a series, especially on a map like Berlin, where you can start things off and really find your dominance early on instead of this game. This is the Team Vengeance roster that Rocker Academy are now facing up against that were able to take Berlin earlier on in their first game of their best-of-5 series, albeit it was only a 24-point win, though. So with that being such a close game, you look to potentially have the same outcome here, if not maybe a little better for Team Vengeance. But on the side of Rocker Academy, I think this is where you can finally capitalize on things here. But I do have the word that we are going into game 46-9 already. Rocker Academy have opened the floodgates. They're over towards P2 already as well.
Early on, you can tell Rocker want to make Vengeance earn this every second of it, as they have opened things up with a near 50-point lead. As we find ourselves making the rotation here soon, over to P2, or excuse me, over to P3, and Rocker look to be in control. I mean, behind Journey being at 7-3 and Lucky at 4-1 to kick things off, that's definitely a way to get going. But what a way to open up this Berlin, where you can really blow this one open if you can start to get those kills on transition and string together a couple of hills. Rocker, they want to try to do that early.
As on screen now is Maple, if you are wondering, overall for this Vengeance roster. Last game, same thing happened, but again, just remember in the back of your minds that Maple is going to be this player and has. It's on screen now. 6-5 to start here inside of the hard point. Denza over by P3. The rotation is there. A couple of good shots aren't going to be able to find the kill, but you will pepper one up for the time being. Metals, who's now trying to make their way up towards the north portion of the map, should be looking for spawns, and as everybody is going to be able to win gunfights here for Rocker Academy, it's the presence like that around the map that shows that why they have the best hard point record overall in the European region. That was a flawless break. That was beauty walking around Berlin.
And that was way too easy. Vengeance, they stayed hunkered way back, basically in their spawns. They had no presence beyond the hill, and therefore Rocker were able to walk into that one for free. They found the picks as they were sitting in the back, and they didn't have any kind of resistance crossing the map from P2, so Vengeance don't make them pay for it. They just let them in for free, and now a 60-point lead, and Rocker looking to grow that. On rotation, once again, it is going to be Vengeance. They win the gunfight to be able to lock that down for sure, but you've got to get some more map presence. You've got to make these players earn their way across map. Denza does just that by cutting off one, but on the retreat, trying to get some information and get some help from the teammates, but it's going to be a 4-man hit here from this top right side of the map.
Metals will find the first kill over towards that north portion of the map. Yet again, Real will fall. Lucky, who's making a flank play all the way around through the back, is going to be able to tally up Weeman. Journey still on 5 in a row, not going to make it number 6. You look for one more, you'll have a glide bomb to go ahead and find on through. Metals is going to be able to get the kill there, traded out instantaneously. That's going to be full streaks now for Journey. Rocker Academy, once again, within the first 15 seconds, got the kills that they needed, were able to break in within 20. That was beauty yet again. Vengeance has showed no signs of being able to stop Rocker Academy's aggression, not only through the backside of spawn, but when they set up a calculated pinch play.
Getting the spawns locked down and getting pushed out. Like you said, there's almost no resistance here from Vengeance. They just haven't been able to get any kind of footing around the map. Rocker have been working the pinches and flanks to perfection, the way they can execute in these respawns. Not only on a map where rotations matter and you can get punished when you don't. It's not even that Vengeance are doing that. It's on rotation, these gunfights that Rocker are handedly taking. Journey now at 16-7 with full streaks. And you've got Real 11-6. I mean, again, they're winning the transitional gunfights, and Vengeance, they're trying to pick up a couple here. Again, you'd say they won the rotation, but whenever Rocker want to collapse, they can, and they've been doing it. So until we see something different for Vengeance, for them to have a turnaround, they've got to get some gunfights going their way, and that's not going to be the case here as P5 pops.
I mean, it's really come off the back foot of Journey, being such a powerhouse inside of map number 1 here thus far. 18-8, willing the way around the map, specifically with an automaton on a longer range map like Berlin. Denza will finally find a way in towards P2. You look to the rest of the team, who now has to go ahead and find the reinforcements back around the hill. The thing is when Rocker Academy is pushing towards the point, Vengeance is getting knocked out, but their next pinch isn't coming, or their next push isn't coming until like maybe 20-25 seconds left, and by that time you already have to think about the rotation, and guess what was the rotation over towards P1, Cash? Rocker Academy. They're trying to build this score up even further. If Vengeance can't break within the first 10, you'd have to assume this is going to be a lost cause of a game 1.
It really will begin to feel like that. They've got to find a way to string it together. They have the opportunity here. They have about as much map presence as they could. Again, they don't have the rotation, but they are holding this from the front. So Rocker, they're going to have to try to break in here, but with spawns and with 3 in the feed, again, it's just effortless. For Vengeance, it's just unfortunate when you can't get the gunfights to go your way. Now you're coming off spawn. Like you said, 15 to 20 seconds have already come off this hard point. It's been going to Rocker. You've got to find a way to break right now to keep yourself in this game.
Unfortunately, that timing there from Denza will allow Journey to find yet another kill from behind. Maple going to be pushing on in. Finally, a 3-piece kill feed for the side of Team Vengeance is going to be able to find their way in towards a point without being traded out. Problem is, only 25 seconds left. We'll have to start thinking about the rotation over towards P2. And as Denza in an off-screen engagement will lose a one-on-one to Lucky, it'll be Rocker Academy who have the north side control of the minimap and, of course, can set up over towards P3. You can still hit bodies over towards P1 as well because of how pushed you are over towards that right side of the map. So now with 154 to 77 being our score, Rocker Academy, they're set up for P2. Lucky will hop around the door side. They'll be able to find the first kill, push everybody from Vengeance back another step yet again.
These players getting mowed off of spawn for these opening kills here on P2. I'd like to see them try to work a pinch play to try to get just Rocker arrows turning and facing another direction. Player 6 and Metals has a big gunfight here with Wardy, really to give up the flank, and it's not going anywhere yet, and it's not going the way of Vengeance now. They do get in on the hill, so now these players have to flood their way back over, but with reinforcements coming in so quickly for Rocker, once again, they find themselves right back on the hill.
Maple going to be able to stay alive inside. Pinstripe kill feed. Rocker trying to break back in. Again, this game's not a lost cause just yet, but Vengeance has to go ahead and play almost perfect hardpoint, the cliche that's as old as Call of Duty is. Wardy up and towards the top of P2. On the staircase, just dancing around, waiting for Rocker Academy to make that final push on in. Real's going to be able to pop the first two. 10 seconds left for scrap time here. Now the rotation over towards P3. Cash, if you remember the last time, it was Rocker Academy who played it perfect.
Rocker played it flawlessly, but for Vengeance, you've been able to string together, I can't even say good holds, but at least you've been getting time. Like you said, this game now isn't over, but Journey's going to open that up, kill the player deep, and spawn there. And now Vengeance, where they're showing a difference is they aren't letting Rocker win these gunfights in the back. Sure, they don't have much map presence, and they aren't pushed out beyond the hill, but they hold off the first wave from Rocker getting on hill. At this point last time, Rocker was already in the hill getting the rest of this time, so for Vengeance, this is a win. Now you've crossed that 100-point mark. Now you're just 160-second hold away. Of course, you're not going to earn it all back at once, but it's a 2-piece that go the way of Rocker. It spawns in the back, and now they're just clearing these players out. They get a break with 30 seconds left.
And that's so unfortunate, too, because Journey was the one who had actually pushed all the way up on the north side of the minimap, was able to get all the way back in behind for the spawns, and when Maple spawned out across the map, he actually forced Vengeance to have a bit of a split spawn there, which allowed Rocker Academy to get those spawns all the way in the back, which alluded to a free 30 seconds of time. Journey, 30 and 16 here in map number 1, 204 to 109. This game has not looked close between the first and second teams inside of their overall ranking in map count and hardpoint specifically, but with Rocker Academy on the verge of being able to not only win this game, but take a 1-0 series lead, it would bode extremely well for a search and destroy that they're not the best in.
It would definitely give them a favored advantage, and they're going to come all 4 players through this train side, no pinch or anything. So where Vengeance was worried about that because that was such a thorn in their side last time, it's not a problem here. But what is the problem is that Rocker's holding from the front of the hill, and now they're just trying to work you out of the back. With 1 player left, yeah, you still have close enough spawns, but Rocker seemed comfortable holding it from here. No one trying to work for these back spawns yet because they know these players are pinned in the top right corner, and it almost looks like these players are forming an L through the mid-map and through P2, just cutting these players down on the time. Denza does make a play and is able to get these players off. Now it's just 1 player left that he's able to find a huge play to keep Vengeance in this, but you mentioned it earlier, and if not, then definitely now it's got to be a perfect hard point here on out.
Look, I love little plays, personal momentum, able to get yourself maybe further back into the series if you are down and out just a bit. 19 and 29 for Denza here in map number 1. Not the greatest scoreline overall. Vengeance, though, are set up for P5 in towards top of the fire building. Wardy and Real, a one-on-one engagement. Going to be one in the way of Wardy. Denza will be able to find the second kill there. So as we continue to look forward over towards the minimap, you can see a couple of players from Rocker Academy still spawning far over towards that left side. Great positioning now for Vengeance. You have to wonder, where was this earlier on inside of the game? Seems like it's going to be too little too late here with only 22 seconds needed for Rocker Academy to take map number 1. But for Vengeance, the good news is, Cash, is this is going to allow them to at least get a little bit of momentum going into the S&D.
It will, and if you're Rocker, you've set up the win condition to where you don't need this P5. You don't have to throw up lives and get rid of map position here. You can just try to get these players killed as you get the kills, get the time that you can, but you know you are set up for P1, so they didn't want to overextend and over challenge for this P5. Even if Vengeance were to get a full 60, that wouldn't really spell too much, because now even at this they still need 70 points to even tie the game, where Rocker only need less than 20 at this point, and they're very well set up for this P1. So they knew the win condition, they played it well, they didn't overextend like we see so many teams do so often. They know what they need to do to get the job done. They're looking to close out here with 8 seconds left. There's just no time for Vengeance to make any kind of play. Wardy's the only one.
Clock continues to tick down. A count of 3. The game should be over here in just a moment. You get a little bit of a break in, so hey, congratulations there. But with 2 seconds left, this would have to be one of the craziest holds in games of Hardpoint that I've ever seen. If you are Rocker Academy, you can afford to hit this 2 to 3 more times just to get those last 2 seconds. You're not too worried about losing the rotation back over towards the next point. And as you see the pinch come in from all the way in behind, Metals will find the last 2 kills. Rocker Academy, despite a late resurgence from Vengeance, will be able to take map number 1. A 1-0 series lead will follow in tow as we get into the search and destroy. We'll be taking our talents over on towards Boccage.
A late resurgence, and you alluded to it best. At least a momentum swing for Vengeance. You know, of course, the players probably didn't think it, but I didn't really think they were standing a chance to win that. When they do draw back to make it a much more respectable scoreline, you get a little bit of wind in the sails. The guns get a little bit warmer. It was just too much of a mountain to climb there. You dug yourselves in a bit too deep of a hole early on to come back from, and that's what's unfortunate because this Rocker team will punish you whenever you make those kind of mistakes. If you let them run up the scoreline by over 100 points early on, it doesn't matter what kind of momentum or fire you can catch at the tail end of the game. It's going to be too much to come back from. So this Vengeance squad, they know that. You know you can't go down against a team like this or else you get punished. They do get punished for it. Rocker find themselves up 1-0 early. And again, going into a search and destroy that Rocker aren't as comfortable in. Vengeance would be the better team in this mode. Rocker sitting at 7th and then Vengeance sitting at 4th in their S&D win-loss. But yeah, if you're Rocker, this is one you needed to get. You are the better hardpoint respawn team, but I think you more so needed it going into map number 2.
Overall statistics from the last game, it was Journey who had 37 kills to lead the way for Rocker Academy. We'll take a look at the maps here overall for the rest of this best of 5 series. As we just saw there, Berlin hardpoint 250, 184 wasn't nearly as close or in as good as favors for the side of Team Vengeance as their last series went, but for the side of Rocker Academy, you've got to be happy because you're going into the newly revamped Boccage Search and Destroy for map 2 with a nice 1-0 lead. Tuscan Control will be map 3, and if we need to go to the distance for 4 and 5, Boccage for the hard point, Search and Destroy will be on Berlin. But Cash, as I just said, Search and Destroy on Boccage, bit different here now as of today. An update that actually kind of unfortunately had a few errors that led to some of these series being postponed a bit.
Something like that.
Specifically talking about Boccage. Over on the A site, things are much different now because no longer do you have to break into the building to get the bomb down at A. It's just right outside on the little courtyard there. It's seems free, but is it really?
It seems free, but is it really? That's kind of the best way to put that. I'm really excited to get this look at it. Again, it's so early on that no one's had time to practice it, of course.
Sure.
So these are kind of going to be improvisations. Teams might just throw looks to see what they can get. Maybe we see a couple more B hits. I think just a knee-jerk reaction. We were kind of talking about it before with it being out on plat. It's a bit exposed. Of course, I know that was the point, was to make it a little bit more fair for the defense.
Sure.
But with it being as exposed as it is, you have to control that entire top side of the map to get that bomb plant down. So you're going to have to earn that a little bit more on offense. I think that'll allow for a couple more B hits. Not much more, but I'm excited to see teams play. Again, this isn't going to be a well-repped thing. It's going to be kind of improv, off the seat of your pants type of play. But I'm excited to see what they show us, especially with these two squads.
So you know what I would love here? Again, it's not a complete map change to where, you know, these teams are going to be like, oh, we don't have any sort of set strategies on this map. Because although it might play just a bit different, teams are still going to have at least some of the things in their back pocket that they're going to be willing to pull out now because of winners finals. But again, the thing is, you know, I would love to see, like, you know, maybe teams maybe not want the mini map to be blocked. Again, that's just a kind of a pipe dream wish, but at the same time, that's at least what you're hoping for. But overall, you know, with the Challengers LAN coming up in Minnesota here in a few weeks, you know, what is kind of the atmosphere overall for teams who are not only trying to put practice into play, but potentially showing their strategics that they have on specific maps maybe a little too early just by trying to win stage 2?
Yeah, you wanna. It's so hard, like you were alluding. It's just a delicate balance. Again, you don't want to give up too much. You still want to be able to have some things to bring out, especially when you get to a Challengers LAN, right? You want something to show off. You want a curveball you can throw at people that's unexpected. So it's a delicate balance to walk. Maybe we see change after that, but leading up to this, the atmosphere is just we'll just do the run-of-the-mill strats. You know, I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy or too interesting before we get to that land. Just some whatever gets the job done type of play. Again,
Sure.
we could be shocked. It could be the opposite. We could get some crazy looks, but generally how teams like to keep strats under wraps, especially going into an event as big as what this Minnesota one's going to be. I expect to see that, but especially with this new bomb site, I think we will get some kind of creative improv plays here just because no one has any strats thus far. Just throw something to the wall, see what sticks.
No, I absolutely agree with that as well. Specifically, I think one of the things that at least a change mid-season rewards teams with is the ability to adapt on the fly, kind of in that improv way, but more in a sense of teams like to get very, how you say, complacent with some of the strategics that they have on a lot of maps, and some strategies that work time and time again. You just keep going back to old reliable as a team can't stop them. With map changes like this, I think it causes a little bit, maybe just enough in a sense, of a little bit of a chain in the armor to where you can finally say, all right, it's go time. We can maybe decide to play this a little bit more haphazardly, opposed to really having to stay to the book. So I think overall, at least for Rocker Academy, this is a perfect opportunity for you, being the worst team statistically speaking in Search and Destroy, to really show flashes of brilliance that you have when it comes to being able to have these spontaneous plays right off the rip. But as we say that, of course, Weeman will open the door up with a first blood in the way of a grenade. Nice little set nade, traded instantaneously. You would have thought so. Journey will lose the gunfight to the automaton, as Weeman will find 2 early on in the round. Hey, the king of doubles and threes will walk yet again here on Boccage.
And bomb down in the mid map is going to spell danger for Rocker. But as you were saying, I think this change, especially like you said, with this haphazard may not be the right word, but it also is kind of feels like the best way to describe it. Just gameplay that this isn't our best mode. Again, let's just give it a shot and see what happens. Maybe we can take this off Vengeance and find ourselves up 2-0 in the series. Metals is able to respond and turn into a 2v3. But until you can get that bomb up and get it planted at either of these sites, right now it's Vengeance wrapping through the back who have complete map control.
Able to find Wardy. Maple spots Metals all the way on the back. 1-on-1 gunfight. Going to be able to win that 9 times out of 10. Lucky in a 1 versus 3. First player, you might not have got great timing there. Out over towards the top of the B site. From behind, player will come on through. That'll be a nice quick kill there for Team Vengeance. So, Rocker Academy, unfortunately, after losing that first life and then the second one to follow in suit, you go down 0-1 early on here in the S&D. That was one of those offensive rounds where you just really weren't able to get anything going simply because you had a 3 versus 4 before the round really even got started.
Rocker will need to play First Bloods very well in the Search and Destroy if they want to find success. Obviously, Vengeance and Wardy specifically, or Weeman, opening that round up with 2, a set nade, and a First Blood to get the bomb down. Rocker have to find a way to respond, at least trade these First Bloods out. Lucky trying to peek here through kitchen and find some intel, going to completely back up and wrap back through the bomb, or through the spawn, but Wardy already up in Zig. Trying to clear out this A site for the team. You can tell this is where they want to go.
Still a 4 versus 4, waiting for the First Blood to come on through. Journey inside of the bottom of the barn. Weeman will be able to find the best of Journey there. Metals up on top of the gate. Want to back off in towards the bottom of the double doors instead of the A site, or what was previously the A site building. Very slow push here from the side of Vengeance. You're looking for maybe another pick or just being able to get onto the A site specifically. But Cash, what we were talking about beforehand is it can be so difficult when you're on the offensive side to be able to push up onto the A site now, specifically because the player that's all the way back on that tank, which is already a hard gunfight to win in itself, can now watch over the top on the site.
And you know someone has to be playing there. It's just a matter of challenging with your AR to win that gunfight, like you said, which is already hard enough as is. So a bit to work through as we're seeing through this A side. If you cannot get that pick out of the back, it's very hard to work this side that allows the other Rocker players to run around and try to make something happen. But a 3v2 situation still going to be favoring Vengeance. They have to get this bomb down though. With 1 player left, Lucky has to go big, bomb down A.
Lucky ran through all the way at the A site. Gets back over towards B. If you're Vengeance, you have absolutely no clue where Lucky is at the moment, and that might be able to prove vital for at least maybe the first 1 to 2 kills. Maple is just going to be laying down on the site. They're all just stacking this point, essentially, like it was a hard point game right now. Lucky just trying to look around, not throw anything away. You certainly don't want to feed Wee Man any more streaks. With 15 seconds left, all that you can really do here, just sit in the back of the map, wait for that bomb to go off, maybe play for a kill if they start hunting you across the map.
And I like how Vengeance stacked that. They knew Lucky being the only one left had to make a play on all three. And well, if you can't play one trade, you at least have the chance to play the second, giving themselves the most opportunity to win, not giving Lucky any looks at the site or giving any information away for free. So Vengeance, they take 2 quick rounds. Rocker have to find a way to respond if they want the advantage back in their favor on offense. And it was Wee Man with the set nade and the first blood that wasn't traded out that opened things up on defense for Vengeance. Rocker, we'll see if they get a better look at a bomb site here.
Looking for a few more in a row here as Wee Man over towards that ace site defensive side. You're going to get some information on the offense. That one player is all the way over the back with a stun check. Metal's looking for an aggressive player over onto the top of the ace site. Nate over the top might be able to find one, and Journey's going to be able to go ahead and find Wee Man. So streaks off the board out of question for Team Vengeance. Rocker Academy now have a first blood, and their first blood of the game. As Denz is just playing slowly, passively over towards this ace site. The bomb is going to go down over towards the ace site. 45 seconds left on a retake from Vengeance.
And seeing how that nade went off, I expect to see a lot. We see a lot of set piece nades here in Vanguard, but especially with that ace side to clear people off, I expect to see a lot more of that. A 2v1 situation, they got what they needed to get the bomb down. Now Maple left a 1v2 with 25 seconds left. Both these players playing back, so a different position than where Vengeance was. Now Maple has to hunt him down and about to get shot in the back. I maybe thought. Not gonna, but 15 seconds left. I still don't think there's time to even get the bomb.
No, there's not. And that was a situation where I actually don't think the Journey down below had seen.
Yeah.
Real below didn't see Maple run through the doorway because he was playing behind it and just waiting for the player to maybe push out from the actual A side itself. But I mean, either way, it's going to be a really difficult situation, even if you find that first blood, to make it a 1 versus 2 instead of a 1 versus 3. So overall, Rocker Academy, 1 down to 2 Vengeance rounds. Back on the defensive side is going to be the side of Rocker Academy. Vengeance, they've had a great deal of success on the offensive side of things. Gosh, this is the question now, though, of course. If you don't get the first blood on that offensive side, well, what is it going to give you? Of course, we just have to wait and see if that's going to happen. Beautiful set nades there. Once again, Metals will take things off the board. Denza will fall. 15 seconds already ticked off. The bomb down. Nobody there to grab it yet.
First bloods have really dictated this round or this game thus far. After 3 rounds, Vengeance starting off with their 2-round wins, and then Rocker get it there. But this one opened up by the way of Rocker, taking Denz out with that beautiful set nade. Now you're in a 3v4 situation, and got to figure out what you want to do. Real gets a huge snap on Wardy and Staircase, and in a 4v2, you feel pretty comfortable to take this one here. Vengeance, they have a lot of work to do.
Even more work to do now. Maple, 1 versus 4. We saw Wardy have a 1 versus 4 earlier on Berlin. This time, though, the smart move. Take yourself out of the equation, step back into the out of the bounds zone, and, well, now it's a 2 versus 2. So, we're all tied up here on Boccage Cash. The big question mark left in everybody's mind is, we've seen rotations and, of course, adjustments from both of these teams early on. What's the next step here from Vengeance as you've lost 2 rounds in a row?
And for me, the next step for Vengeance is going to be maybe sending someone on a route through the back. We've seen Rocker take that, but do Vengeance have someone they want to send on a pinch or try to develop some kind of pinch or flank play? The B side, they're giving it a little more love. We can see 2 players sitting here. Keep an eyes on it. Real, maybe with the delayed hit. Could make something happen, but Journey's going to try to make magic in the mid-map. Wardy with the trade there for Vengeance. We'll see if they use that to get any more map pressure. They don't look to, as they all retreat through spawn and hold tight in Grandma's.
Would have been a special little 2-piece there from Journey in the middle of the map. Luckily for Rocker Academy, though, able to escape with your life out for the time being. 2 versus 3. Vengeance will be able to find one in the way of Wee Man's automaton kill. Second player ticked off the board. Lucky, Real, both trying to play this together. If you're Real here, although you might lose this round, still 2 versus 3. Lots of time to play with. You're really just trying to go for your streaks at this point, because you're still, again, on 4 in a row.
And it's so early on, but
Sorry.
Wardy gonna go sniff out Real. Thank you, Corn, for the curse. That's gonna fall. Vengeance, they find a way to get around wind, and They're playing it really safe on their defense. You know, I'm thinking back to the control. Of course, the respawn plays a little bit differently, but with Vengeance, you know how they can turn up and play with aggression. Maybe they're saving that pacing switch for later on in the S&D, but I'd like to see them get a little bit more aggressive. Regardless of the lane they pick, I'd expect it to be through Riverside, but we haven't seen any of that from them. We man on 6 and 2, and Bordy on 4 and 4. Nothing to scoff at. A little more balanced and not as impressive for Rocker. Only down 1 round now, but we'll see if any aggression comes out for Vengeance if they want to try to go back-to-back rounds.
Number 1 seeded Team Vengeance, number 2 seeded Rocker Academy. Winners finals here in the European region. It's been a bloodbath here thus far between maps number 1 and 2. It was Rocker Academy who got the best of Team Vengeance in map 1, an early jump inside of the series. Now they're going to be able to go ahead and find their way into where the old ace site would be here. Couple of players looking for a first blood still. Team Vengeance and the bomb now working its way back out over on towards the actual A site itself. Journey dancing around inside of the kitchen. Maybe cut one down. The bomb will go down over towards this A site though with 45 seconds left. Team Vengeance with 1 round in a row looking for their second after 2 quick bloods come in. Wardy and Weeman will find a couple. Now it's the retake on the site. Riel has to go big in a 1 versus 4. You found the first. You can't quite find the second. Team Vengeance after losing 2 will win yet another 2 in a row. 4-2 lead here inside of the Boccage.
And based on how game trends go, I expect Rocker to take 2 in response.
Sure.
We'll see if that trend ends up changing, but Vengeance had a complete site control there. We're able to get it down, and again, Rocker have found themselves in the rounds that they've lost in unfortunate situations. It's been XV4 or 3 at least. No one on streaks, but Weeman once again on another 4. So that is still on the table for them. They find themselves on defense. Rocker to try and respond. Again, when those rounds go down, it's the first bloods that are just so lopsided for the winning squad. And, well, Vengeance, they've been handling it thus far. They're up 4 rounds, and look at this hit through B and mid. They're just trying to get a little more control over here.
You know, Cash, after a poor map 1 performance from Weeman, this is what we kind of expected, at least from the series that we saw earlier on. 8 and 2, 4 in a row. Weeman up and towards the top is almost able to find the kill there on the Rial. Metals, though, with 2 in the round. Now it's a 1 versus 4. Maples yet again in a 1v odd situation for Vengeance. 45 seconds left. Retake over on towards the B site. It's going to be damn difficult. You've already got the first kill, though. Now make it 2. Okay, all the way from behind, though. The MP40 at range is going to be able to pick and clean up that final player on Team Vengeance. So, history continues to repeat itself. 3-4. Rocker Academy, a defensive round, should be able to tie things up at 4 apiece.
And just how lopsided were those first bloods when they opened? It was 3 for Rocker. Just to put it again, if I could count how many times you've said 1vx in this game, it would at least be almost all of the rounds, at least be 4 or 5. And no one's been able to effectively trade in the first blood category. No one's really been playing mid map. It's been either really heavy through barn for A, and on defense you've been holding grandmas. No one has gotten a ton of presence in mid and gate. Lucky opens things up with a beautiful set nade again, so advantage to Rocker for the time being.
Wardy will shoot a door out. Gonna be able to find the kill there on the Rial. So as we have a trade, maybe we'll find yet another. Back and forth we go. Journey, an overzealous, aggressive gunfight there. Doesn't go your way. Metals, Wardy, 1 versus 1. 55 seconds left. Bomb going to be making its way over towards A. Should have enough time to go down here before Metals challenges. But up the staircase. Maybe, just maybe, around the corner. Wardy. Do you get some good timing on the player of Metals? He's actually going to go for the defuse here. Do you hear the audio cue for the reload? Up the staircase. Wardy actually doesn't even spot the bomb. He doesn't even spot the Okay.
Oh, man.
I thought for half a second that he wasn't going to spot either the foot and or the head of the... He might not even have spotted it in the first place. You could have... That's possible that the teammates were in the background going, he's on the bomb.
that could have been just teammate awareness to say, whoa, you saw that, right? They go up. They're at match point now, so they snap Rocker, responding with 2 straight. They break that cycle, find themselves at match point to draw the series up 1-1. For Vengeance, looking at S&D and looking at control, those look to be must-win modes for you, so they want to get this done and taken care of, but it's not through aggression. They're getting to their spots here on defense, going to force Rocker to make the play, and no set nades open up with first blood, so after the first 30 or so seconds, it's a 4v4.
8 and 6, 8 and 4. Wardy and Weeman alike. Nades over the top won't find anything, but Journey is going to be able to find one on the Weeman with the MP40. 4 versus 3. 55 seconds left here inside of round number 9. As you make your way over towards the A site, you're going to hop on in. Wardy's going to be able to find the first. Trade not there yet. Oh my goodness. Wardy goes ahead and finds a second and is able to escape with the life. So what was a 4 versus 2, all of a sudden now leaves Wardy with 5 in a row. You're going to be behind this player as well in medals. So you're going to be able to find the shots there. You actually know where the last player was in a 1 versus 1. Now it's going to be player number 4 inside of the barn. Looks in the middle of the map. Wardy, did you spot him out there? Yes, you did. 1 versus 1. Back of the barn, you're going to be running out. Bad timing there for Wardy. Back over towards the A side. It's ring around the rosy here in the barn. Wardy trying to end this game not only on 7 in a row, but technically a 1 versus 4. You know, how many times are we going to get the timing like this? You're going to be able to spot him out. Oh, Wardy. A couple pairs of W's go big on Boccage, and Vengeance will tie up the series 1 apiece.
The timing was so unbelievable there between both people. I don't think that Lucky ever got eyes on Wardy, but Wardy lost sight of Lucky a couple times. I almost thought with him when he looked away from A the first time that he was actually going to commit over to B, but doesn't. Gives the A site one last look, and like you said, a pair of W's. They go big for the W for Vengeance. Draw the series up at 1-1, and make that a great way to respond to Rocker and how they came out in that hard point.
Number 1, that was a fun game overall.
Yeah.
The Boccage search and destroy with the new changes. You know, it's still going to play the same chaotic, close range, fast and aggressive way that it did beforehand, but now there's just a bit more added stakes, especially with how open that site is over towards the A side. I, for the most part, didn't really know who was going to win offense or defense for the entirety of that match throughout there, so okay, well, now we've gotten our first glimpse of Boccage, but as we go ahead, let this series cool on the hot burner for a second. We're going to focus our attention over towards North America. Stallions, Bearclaw Gaming, number 1 seed Bearclaw versus number 4 Stallions. They played earlier on in the regular season, or aka the round robins of Stage 2. And of course, it was a 3-2 win in map number 5 that came to the hands of Bearclaw Gaming. 16-6 to start things off here on Boccage. What better way to start off a best-of-5 series than, of course, getting Mixie on Boccage.
Stallions starting off well. 6-2 on a 5 streak for Cryptic, someone who for Stallions plays so well in the respawns, and someone you want to definitely early on play streaks around. Cryptic is able to find 6, is able to find 7 as well, so that's full streaks early on. You have complete P2 control. Players trying to break in for Bearclaw, but what a way to open things up. Yeah, you lose site control, you have the close spawn still, but you also have kill streaks, and that's a great way to go about it.
Stage 1, the Stallions did not qualify for the elite. Here inside of Stage 2, though, a little bit of a different story. Two real, Cryptic, Kaiser. We're playing with Gunzy beforehand. Gunzy off the roster. Pick up Yuli. Yuli now with the rest of the boys in the trio that has stayed together since the beginning of Vanguard. Finally have found their way into not only Stage 2, but of course the playoffs and top 4. They're auto-qualified for Stage 3 now as well. Bearclaw Gaming, this is again as a team that you struggled against multiple times and also had an 0-2 deficit inside of your best-of-5 series the last time you played. So Cash, overall, there's a lot of history between these two teams. Stallions, they want revenge for the reverse sweep that fell upon them the last time they played.
They want revenge, and it's on the cards for them tonight. They get a good break on P3. They work a pinch around the site and collapse, soaking up the time and extending their lead. What is the through 2.5 hills, over 40-second lead, and they have site control of P3. So Bearclaw, they're the ones that have to look to make a play. A slow start out of Noisy to get things going, and a couple of hot starts for the side of Stallions have given them the lead that they need. You can get a quick response here if you are Bearclaw, as you have the spawns for P4, but look to see Stallions work their way around the map, try to work a pinch, and they're going to soak up every second of this time, nearly at 100 points through 3 hills.
P3 popped. Excuse me, P4 popped. Radial bottom of the barn. Yuli will pop for 2 in a row. Into the middle of the map. We'll shut down the first player going to be on the forward assault. Radial will jump down from the top of the barn. You look for a few more players who are now on the north portion of the map, getting back over in towards it. Trade back and forth as we go. Radial was almost able to find 3 and 4. Couldn't find that last player, but Exotic will come in from behind, clean that one up. Tries to slide around the backside as well. So, 91-28, 30 seconds left here on P3 or P4. You're okay with giving up these last couple of seconds of time if you are the Stallions, but of course, if you can win the gunfights here and then play your rotation back over towards P5, that would be even better for you. The gunfight, the slaying, it's not been close thus far. The Stallions have been winning in every single aspect. Kaiser will now go on 5. Again, Cryptic had already gotten full streak streaks earlier on in the game. Unfortunately, Kaiser won't be able to join that fan club, but you've got a lot of utility in the back pocket if you're the Stallions.
And they've been holding this hill from the front, keeping the right side spawns, pinning Bearclaw back. Like you said, the slaying has been lopsided thus far, but now keep those spawns. You don't get overzealous in P4, and on the rotation, Bearclaw have a lot of work to do. They have to work through the point and across the map to get this done, but they have a pinch developing here through River and P3. Stallions, they're going to be fighting a two-front war here in a moment. Kill feed is pinstripe, but Stallions, they're holding on for the time being. If you're Bearclaw, this is a win, because this is keeping them out of the time.
3-2 trade. Stallions going to be on top of that one now. Over a 100-point advantage here on Boccage. Again, this has not been close. Bearclaw come into this with the #1 seed. Again, though, inside of the round robin, it was the side of Bearclaw who came back from an 0-2 deficit inside of the series. I guess a key to victory coming into this matchup was, hey, you probably don't want to go down 0-2 again. But, I mean, again, history loves to repeat itself, so potentially a reverse sweep on the cards, but we haven't even gotten to game 2 yet. Either way, Stallions, it's been a monumental performance here already in game #1. Cryptic at 20-7 has been in the amateur scene for years, countless years at this point. And the thing is, Cash, always just close enough to be able to win things. And it always just seems like things don't always fall in his favor. And it's just so satisfying to be able to see the Stallions not only competing after not making it into stage 1, but of course having such monumental success here in map 1.
It is quite the treat to see, and they've been coming out and showing out here thus far on Boccage. I feel like a way you can kind of explain Boccage is you're either blending or you're in the blender. And right now, Bearclaw, they just cannot get anything going in the scoreline or in the kills. It has been all Stallions, all Cryptic, and Kaiser for this squad, and that just opens up the map. Whenever you're getting the kills to go your way, that opens up rotations, that opens up portions of the map for you to make plays through. So yeah, kills, it sounds simple, but it's a fundamental part of the game, and it makes it a whole lot easier when they're going your way, especially like this with Bearclaw getting a little bit warm here. They find themselves in position for P2 as these spawns flip out for Stallions.
Love to find yourself 60 seconds of time here. That basically puts you at the 100-point mark. Obviously, a few contestants should come through from the Stallions. Their breaks have been pretty clean thus far. Trim and cut. Streak going to come in, though, over the top. Use from the side of the Stallions. You allow your players to get into position as well. As Cryptic and Kaiser will go ahead and find those 2 kills. You now have a player #4 in Kaiser who's flying all the way around through the back. Welly, though, reads it well, is going to be able to find that kill. Chris Radial, a little bit of a headshot there. Comes on the way of a hip fire while also throwing the stun at the same time. So you look back over towards the front of the hill. Clean kill feed from Bearclaw has allowed yourselves a little bit of breathing room as the Stallions will make their push across the map yet again. 25 seconds left. You'll start thinking about the rotation over towards P3. Chris Radial here, though, trying to slide back on out to get the time. You have a couple more players from the Stallions continuously pushing over towards P2. That's actually good news for Bearclaw, though, Cash, because they're going to get those close spawns by P3.
I was about to say that could play spoiler for Stallions. Of course, you have a lot of work to do if you're Bearclaw, but you overcommit to P2 for 20 seconds. You give up spawns in rotation to P3. Now, you're back across the map, which is good. You're trying to take these gunfights, and you go 2 for 2, so it could be worse, but you give yourself these spawns in the position that Yuli's able to find at tower. So what was looking very bad and a poor decision for Stallions ends up working out for them, as now they are gifted P3 spawns and control thus far. It's going to have to be Bearclaw that are being funneled through Barn and mid-map, and they're getting cut down.
6 in a row from Yuli, 21-17. The Stallions have now pushed past the 200-point mark. 210-69. You can't win off of this hard point. You can get close. Maybe win on the next one. They stack up. A team kill comes in. So it's a 1-1 trade back and forth. Yuli will now slide out over towards Welly. Welly, again, has been on fire throughout the entirety of stage 2 thus far. Not a great performance here in map #1, but again, with the entire team kind of slacking behind, you really can't point to anybody and say, man, they're having a great game right now, because nobody is. The slaying is absolutely in totality to the side of the Stallions. 233-70. This game, again, has not been close from the get-go. The opening jump went to the Stallions. Bearclaw, you can try your might to try and get a couple of pity points here, maybe not get 100-point clubbed, but this, again, has been a wildly incredible performance from the Stallions.
very balanced attack from them too. 3 players with over a minute of part-time. Kaiser closing in on 60 seconds, all of them over 20 kills. It's just a very clean 4-man effort. Whenever all 4 players are playing and rotating around the map as well as they are, it's a hard thing to beat. Again, for Bearclaw, yeah, you're going to try to not get clubbed here, but whenever Stallions look to break back in, they can close this one out, only needing 9 points. They don't have to get every second of this. With 20 seconds left, maybe they'll give it one more hit, but if I'm Stallions, to close this one out, I just try to lock down P5, get it done, say goodnight, call it a day, and get on to map number 2.
Stunning as it is to say, Bearclaw, they come into this series as one of the best, if not the best team when it comes to hardpoint inside the North America region. So, all the way in the back, Chris Radial trying to clear out the spawns just a bit, but with 3 seconds left, you're not going to be able to get onto the point for a quick touch. 250 to 97 goes map number 1. The Stallions put Bearclaw, the number 1 seeded Bearclaw, in the blender. A 100-point club to start off this best of 5 series. That's an exclamation mark and a foot stomping. Start off this best of 5.
Like you'd mentioned, against the number 1 team. So the Stallions are out here seeking revenge, and that's exactly the statement they have made with this map number 1. 250-97 is a devastating score line, and excited to get along with that series as we get more looks at that. But we're going to hop back on board here in the Tuscan control. Vengeance, Rocker Academy. Vengeance took round number 1, so now on offense is going to be Rocker, and they've got to find a way to get this B point. Vengeance, they're holding on and open things up with an offense. So if you're Vengeance, hey, that's a way to go.
1-1 tied up in the series. Rocker Academy looking to get back over towards a B zone. 16-14 overall. Again, Vengeance, the number 1 team in control with a 6-1 record inside of the mode. One of the things to hit on, we will be at least guaranteed a map at number 4, but the first hard point that went the way of Rocker Academy turns around to Team Vengeance and map number 2 as Boccage Search and Destroy, again, newly revamped with the A-bomb being moved. That, of course, allowed Vengeance to be able to take control of that map. Weeman had a great performance there in map 2. The S&D is what got the momentum rolling in the last series previous before the winners finals. Well, it seems to have the exact same repercussions here inside of map number 3. Weeman 16-10 leading the way for both teams overall in terms of slaying. Maple looking out in towards P5. You're going to be able to get positioning in towards the radio, but as Wardy now will fall to the hands of Journey, you look for another push over towards B, shut down by the hands of Denzo and Weeman.
And I fully expect Vengeance to take this control, much like I expected them to take the Search and Destroy. These are modes that you're better on paper than Rocker, and you need to take these to draw the series up and give yourself an advantage. And they do the hard work first. They win an offense. That allows them, or last time we were on Tuscan, it came down to all defenses that won it. So Vengeance, you do the hard work, you get an offense off the board in the first round, you look here to have a defense, and this is what Vengeance does to you. Whenever it comes down to time or lives, they go hunting and they fly up the map. They're pressed all the way up through mid-map on roof, and yeah, you get an opening, but time doesn't matter. Rocker don't give themselves enough time or lives to get the job done. Vengeance, they hold on, and they apply so much pressure through the mid-map whenever they know they need to. It's a team that plays control very well, and no wonder, because they're sitting at 6-1.
Biggest thing to talk about at the end of that round there, Journey was able to find a 2-piece, but that shut down the streaks that Denzo was on. I believe it was 5 in a row. 2 more kills would have easily gone ahead, got streaks, and would have made this 0-2 comeback even more difficult for Rocker Academy. As you look to hit over towards that A site first, they're going to go up and over the top. A 3-man hit, though, from Team Vengeance down and towards P5. You'll look for those first 2 players. Real will get the best of Denza, but Wardy and X will trade immediately after the fact. And as Weeman with the Automaton is going to play a bit more passive, wait for another challenge around the corner. That's going to allow them to get over towards that B site. Weeman some beautiful shots in the back and have to go ahead find a kill with the pistol here if he wants to stay alive. Helps out the rest of the team. A pinch all the way around the back should be able to be good for 1, and it will be. Unfortunately, though, that cuts down the reinforcements that were there from Team Vengeance, and now it's a 1-life advantage from Rocker Academy as they almost line up for Denza for another quick 2.
Real able to get back over to this A site, so you get the wipe and you also get the rotation back over. You don't give a clean hit for Vengeance. Player 2 and Wardy in church and mid-map control, so this is good if Vengeance want A site control. They've got to take this one with less than a minute left. They look to try to close this one out completely. Rocker, if they want to hang on and keep this timer rolling, they've got to get some more presence on defense at this A site. They might look to give it one more hit, but it's player 8 and Lucky wrapping around the spawn. Who could spell spoiler for this A site?
Looking to find your second offensive round. Rocker Academy, you've made some adjustments. Clearly, they've worked out thus far. 2 ticks of progress at A. Nobody back over towards that B zone just yet. Everybody's still pushing from Vengeance on that north side. And that's part and spawn due to Rocker Academy now influencing those spawns with player number 7 and Real being able to get back around. You start to go towards the middle of the map. Wardy will fall. So the player that was trying to break out over towards B, maybe make a great play, get a couple of kills, will be knocked off the board. This is now going to allow Vengeance to not only spawn on the north portion of the map, but maybe have a bit of more of collective push back over towards B.
I love this diagonal line setup from Rocker here off the break. We had player 7 and Real playing over Roof and P5, and then player 8 and Lucky playing the top right. So they had them set up to where they were literally only spawning at P3 and P1. That gets broken. Now Vengeance pushing through the mid-map and through Church. Have to force these Rocker players to back up. And if they want clearance on the site, pinch play is going to be what works for them. But for Vengeance, you've got to find the kills. Got to find an opening to get the players through.
Top of the Church. Wardy killing the metals. Still pushing on the offensive side. A minute left to get over towards that B zone. Stop the clock. Get all the ticks of progress that you need. Again, you've already won an offensive round. You try to replicate that here late inside of round number 3. Would be a storming 3-0 win on a control that we very, very seldom see here inside of Call of Duty, let alone challengers. Up and towards the top, Journey will run down the staircase. Going to be able to find one in the back. Jumps back over towards to find the second. Maple will finally find the trade, but at what cost? It's already 2 players that are knocked down. Everybody from the side of Team Vengeance cut off the map. Back to the respawn block. 35 seconds left. You've got 1 to 2, maybe good more pushes at this. But it's Rocker Academy who are pushed so far up the map that Team Vengeance is going to have to check all these corners. It's going to take so much time off the clock before they can really make this push all the way forward. It's going to be Wardy who's the first one out over towards the radio. You know one's there. Lucky. A beautiful kill there. Pairs with Metals. That's already 2 down. A 2 versus 4 on the site's not going to bode well. Metals with 3 looking for number 4. Finally will get traded out. But again, Cash, it's too little too late as everybody's all the way back across that left side of the map.
It is too little too late. There's just not enough time. Lives have not been a factor in the rounds that we've seen. It's been the clock and Vengeance. You didn't need that offense, so you're okay giving that one to Rocker Academy, but Rocker, they hold on, they find shape, a much needed defensive win for them. But now again, you're still at match point and you go back to an offense where you were just unable to get that B side captured. And Vengeance, we've seen what they can do whenever it's match point on defense. The aggression that they play with in the mid map and across the map in general is just something that's so hard for teams to break out of. It's a wicked Tuscan spawn trap that they can put on. I know off this break, they're going to look to try to pin these Rocker players early. And if you're Rocker, you know what's coming. You've got to be ready to take the hit. You've got to be ready to get these kills.
No surprise, Weeman finds the first blood here in the control round. Top of the Church. Looking for the 2 that have now made their way in towards the bottom. Looking to the top. Journey's going to be the first one there. Slides out the doorway. Going to turn around the right side corner. Good timing by Weeman there. Is going to be able to get the best of the camera angle. Traded immediately is going to be Real in a 3-1 effort. So as Lucky's going to be the last one to tail things up here. Around over by Radio. Going to try and get the one-on-one gunfight win there. But the MP40 is going to win the close range engagement. So reset just a bit. Rocker Academy can find their way back over towards A. They'll ping pong back and forth between the sites to take Team Vengeance away from one of the 2. And as they've got that first bit of progress over towards A now complete, they'll look for the second to try and get even more time added to the clock.
Wardy might be looking to make a play here through the mid-map. Now you start to see these players in Vengeance come up this mid-map area. And this is where they're so dangerous. Real being up in this Church window, though, could play spoiler as they are across this mid-map area. The calls get made 3 for 1 in the feed. Make that 4 for 1. Go Rocker Academy on offense. They do what they need to, but right off spawn again, it's Denza here trying to make something happen. This third tick of progression close to getting in for Rocker. This should be it, as now all resources for Vengeance are focused on hunkering down and holding on to this B site.
Trying to slip the knot was Wardy. Journey, though, pushed up the map, trying to get back over towards B is going to be there. A site secured, extra minute on the clock, minute 45 left here for Rocker Academy to be able to control that B zone. Unfortunately, you go ahead and knock 3 down immediately after the fact. Wardy was oh so close to being able to put Lucky back in the dirt on the respawn block, but off screen, Weeman's going to cut the last player from Rocker Academy that's pushed up the map down. So, minute and 30, trying to push back across the map. Here comes a flank now from player number 4. They read it perfectly. Denza will fall, but still slows Rocker Academy down just enough to where the respawns can try yet for another pinch to the middle of the map.
Vengeance not letting anything through P1. player 6, and Journey trying to slip through and does just that. Now have all the heads for Vengeance turned, thinking this is coming through P5. They get the wipe, and that's opened it for Rocker, the top lane of the map, to try to make a play happen through Church. But I like how they're playing this together. They haven't let Vengeance get pushed up the map and get the aggression that they like. Wardy is going on a good flank here. That's going to force these arrows to turn around and allow the pinch to come in. But Rocker, you're holding on because you're playing together. You're able to play these trades and get these kills. Now we see him flooding through alley onto B.
On the staircase, you get behind two. Denza pops a double, 4 in a row. 30 kills here on Tuscan, trying to replicate what Weeman did just one series ago here on Tuscan. Denza from the top ropes is going to be able to find yet another 5 in a row. That's 2 streaks where you've had 5 here for Team Vengeance. Denza specifically has had a map of a lifetime against Rocker Academy. 3-1 would be the final scoreline if they were able to take this defensive round. 22 seconds left. 14-6 in the live count. Out around the corner. Denza's there. You look to the staircase. Why not go ahead and try to line up another? Journey finally cuts the player down. No respawns remaining. 3 players left alive. 1 final push over towards the site. It doesn't look good. Real, top of the staircase, gets cut down by Wardy. Rocker Academy. After you lost that first offensive round, it was just going to be so hard to replicate what you had in previous Control series. Team Vengeance, after winning the Search and Destroy, will take the control in map number 3, looking to capitalize and close out a 2-1 lead as we go into a Boccage hardpoint.
And again, I say advantage to Vengeance because you're going into Boccage, one where you don't get punished as hard if you are misrotating, the map being so small,
Sure.
and being able to get across the map with such quickness. It's one where you can play a little more loose and a little more creative and not get punished for it. So for Vengeance, you have a real chance to close this one out here in the 3-1 fashion by taking this Boccage hardpoint. If you go back to S&D, again, that would be your favorite mode. So for Rocker, letting Vengeance go up 2-1 in the series really put your backs against the wall. It puts that much pressure on you to win the Boccage hardpoint, and then you find yourself in a game 5 where you have to know you're not favored because it's a search and destroy. You've already lost 1 to Vengeance here, and they're going to be wanting to take you down. So a big ask now ahead of Rocker going down in that control.
We'll see a map number 4 on Boccage for the hard point in just a moment, but as we go ahead, find our way back over to the North America side of things, Bearclaw Gaming will take the opening round here in the Search and Destroy. Cash, if we go back to the previous series that these two teams played inside of the round robin, map 2 was a Desert Siege Search and Destroy, where the Stallions had a 6-4 win in map 2. Of course, that being the last map that they would win inside of that best of 5 series, because Bearclaw would take the final 3 maps inside of 3, 4, and 5. So, Bearclaw, great way to start things off. It was a team ace round where everybody was able to find themselves a kill. Yuli, the only one that found a kill for the Stallions, a flawless round there for Bearclaw Gaming.
For Stallions on Desert Siege, I believe they are 3-0 on Desert Siege, so this is a map that's favored for them. It would be a big win, and like you said, a great start for Bearclaw to come out and take that round, but a big win for them to take in the Search and Destroy as well, knowing Stallions play this map so well. It was 6-4 last time around, so Bearclaw know what they need to do. Their work is cut out for them as they have the bomb down here, and in a 3v3 situation, Stallions, they've got to look to make a retake.
It was nice because Exotic was able to get the bomb down, escape with a life. 3 versus 3. 25 seconds remaining. Noisy looks out towards the left. Shots are going to be there onto Cryptic. Won't be able to find the kill. Kaiser, the second one up to challenge. Got a couple more players all the way around. You're actually going to hop the bomb here, though. Cryptic now around the outside. Should actually be able to go ahead and find this defuse. You're not going to be able to get back over towards the bomb in time. And in a 2 versus 2, you take the cojones out, you hop the bomb, and you go ahead and take the round. It's plays like that that can completely swing a Search and Destroy, but a series in general, if you play enough of them, 1-1 we go here in the S&D, which should have been a round win to Bearclaw.
I love the team trust that the Stallions COD have. They, again, to be able to hop the bomb, yeah, it takes, big brains and a lot of confidence from the player doing it, but you also have to trust your teammates are going to look over you. There is a crucial gunfight that does go the way of Real to look over the bomb diffuser, but again, just team chemistry and confidence that Stallions have is something that, again, is intangible, and like you said, it can swing series, let alone maps, in your favor. Stallions, they open up the first blood here, and their energy and pace, it's changed.
Dancing around the top. Do real slowly. And with the rest of the team. Got a first blood in your favor. Noisy's actually behind Kaiser. Are you going to be able to spot that player out? The answer is yes. 3 versus 3. Bomb still has yet to go down for the side of the Stallions. Playing a bit more passive back and towards your spot. Waiting for a potential pick here to come through. Maybe just some information on the site of where you might be able to play towards. And, well, there comes both of those things. Exotic playing all the way back. Cryptic takes it down. 3 versus 2. That bomb falling away or going on over towards A.
Noisy's position now given up as well. This bomb is going down A. 3v2. It's got to be a clean retake from Bearclaw. You've got to find picks. They've joined up and are trying to run through their spawn now together, but Cryptic's going to get eyes on one and have eyes on a second here in a second, but Noisy opting to keep his position disclosed. A lot of work to do, 3 picks to find, and a bomb to defuse all in 20 seconds, and that is not going to happen. Stallions, they find a way to get that round win by getting the bomb down. Like you said, they were playing patient, looking for a pick. They found it. That opened up the bomb site, and they take advantage.
It was a tall order when you're in a 1 versus 3, but when you have the time constraint, it's going to be that much more difficult. Again, we are watching in the North America side of things right now in winners round 1, but we will be switching our coverage back after the conclusion of this search and destroy to our European side of things. Something that we can do during the downtime. We're switching between different maps, so we can bring you the most coverage as humanly possible, and of course bring you the North America side of things, because that is what we are going to do here on side of ClutchGG. Either way, Stallions with a 2-1 lead. Again, we said the last time it was them who were able to take the search and destroy against Bearclaw on this map in the best of 5 series they played against them in the round robins to take a 2-0 lead here. History again is repeating itself wondrous ways. 4-2, the advantage for the Stallions. A retake here for Bearclaw, as Noisy's going to be able to pop 2. Noisy is the catalyst for this Bearclaw roster. 90% of the time, when he gets going, it's very, very difficult to slow them down. Bomb will go down 45 seconds as Kaiser now looks for Noisy.
2v2 retake, Yuli finds the pick, and now Welly just playing out in sand dunes. I don't know if they're aware of his position. I actually make that a yeah. They have complete awareness that he's playing out there. Where else would an AR be playing? Now getting the defuse. Stallions, they take 3 rounds in a row to go up 3-1 here, and it really felt like when they hopped that bomb, like I said, their confidence just kind of changed there, and they're playing a little bit different. Yuli on 3 as well. You can tell they're comfortable on this map.
Swing rounds like those, what could have been for Bearclaw Gaming in another universe, will not be told and or written inside of the lines of the stars in the current one that we are in. Stallions with a 3-1 lead here on Desert Siege. Cash, this map, it's very polarizing between many people. Lots of people like it, lots of people don't like it that much. The Stallions, though, they will play it every single time that they possibly can, especially against Bearclaw, who just seemingly don't have an answer for the majority of the plays that they're making.
First bloods have got to start to go your way if you're Bearclaw, just to give you some map positioning. It's so vital on Desert Siege to get kills, and a great grenade on Yuli after the bomb plant. Definitely is going to shake up the Stallions post-plant setup. Too real, though, through the lines, able to get a pick, trying to find another, but the first bloods were good. Stallions, they find a way to respond big, so for Bearclaw, no matter what you're throwing at the wall, none of it's sticking. You've got to find something that works, and now a 2v3 retake. Again, what was your round now is seemingly falling through the cracks.
You pepper up Welly. You don't realize that 2-Real still in your back line all the way up on top. Kaiser and Nate over the top. 11 seconds left. You got to find both of these kills and the defuse at the same time. Radial will hop the bomb. You look around the corner, won't be able to find the shots onto 2-Real. Why not give him every single player in the round? 2-Real gets behind the opposition, can confront them in one-on-one gunfights, and he'll make you pay for every single fault that you leave him. You don't clean him up in the back, well, that's what happens. No round wins for you. A 4-1 advantage now for the Stallions in the S&D. More and more here on Desert Siege. It looks like the Stallions are getting confidence built up to an extent every single round. It's like plaque building on teeth at Cash.
Yeah, it's just a bit too much when you let it go on for so long. 2-Real with the ace in that round. And again, for me, this kicked off with that defuse that they hopped earlier on their defensive round. Bearclaw have just had no response for it. They got the first blood that round. They got the bomb down. You do your on-paper job on defense. You just can't get the rest done. And so now you've got to try to find a way to answer. You get the first blood once again. You're getting the bomb down here in a moment. I say that, and then Yuli makes a big play. But for Bearclaw, it's just nothing's working out. Stallions, they are too clean on this map.
The right side corner. Kaiser from the spawn, 1 versus 2. Noisy has the bomb going down over towards the B site. So it's going to be a bit of a trek for Kaiser to get back across the map. Welly, Noisy, trying to play this one. At least make things a bit more doable. With a 2-4 disadvantage instead of a 1 versus 4. They'll be able to win the round there. Bearclaw starting to make their way back here on Desert Sea. Just going to have to be almost perfect play throughout the rest of this with the way that the Stallions have been playing against you. But if you counter the aggression correctly, you're able to find a couple of first bloods that you just simply haven't been getting throughout the majority of the search and destroy. Well, that at least is going to be the first start. The problem is, again, Stallions just need 2 more rounds to go ahead, claim the Desert Seed, search and destroy, and then put themselves up with a 2-0 lead on the number 1 seeded Bearclaw Gaming roster.
Well, Corn, we've seen a 2-0 lead out of the side of Stallions before, so job's not done until someone's got 3, and Stallions definitely want to make that change this time around. And for Bearclaw, yeah, again, they respond. They trade out the first bloods. We do go 2-2, but it's going to be Stallions who have to try to get the bomb and go back again on offense. So advantage Bearclaw. You trade out the first bloods like you need to, but again, you let Cryptic rip off a head like that and puts Chris Radial in just such an unfavorable position. This is to give up for round number 5, going the way of Stallions. Chris Radial's got to pull off something big.
Would be a wild round to win here for Bearclaw. 45 seconds left. Bomb still down. Radial going to be able to reload all the way in the back line. Wait for a few players to push up. Kaiser around the corner. You're actually going to spot the player over towards that right side. Maybe not going to be able to win the gunfight there. Kaiser, though. 1 versus 1. Bomb down yet again. Radial can back all the way off across the map. Maybe he doesn't know that the bomb is down, but at least knows that he has time to play with here. Gonna sit in the corner. Either wait for the audio cue of the player pushing onto the site, or maybe get some good timing. Cryptic gonna grab the bomb, wrap all the way back around over towards the A site potentially, but Chris Radial now might get some horrible timing. Did you hear the audio cue? The wall being broke out around the corner. Radial, 1 versus 2. You're going to be able to clutch it up. So another round to Bearclaw. 4-3, still down, but much, much more manageable than you were in 2 rounds ago.
Winning critical gunfights. Chris Radial pulls off the 1v2. I said it had to be big, and it was just that. Now we see some life in Bearclaw here. Again, we were maybe mentioning that it could have been too little too late. What was 4-1 is now 4-3, so a far more manageable situation for Bearclaw. Still a lot of work to do, but as we have a look here at our EU series, Vengeance and Rocker, map 4 Boccage, Vengeance find themselves up early. So again, this is what Vengeance need to do to close this series out, is keep a map like Boccage close and scrappy. They look to be doing just that off the rip.
Keep that there for a bit of time. Bearclaw Stallions still 4-3 overall. Bring that to the full picture as the series, and rather the game, starts to get a little bit closer towards the ending. Again, Vengeance with a 2-1 lead against Rocker. Here on the North American side of things, though, Stallions 4-4 still, 55 seconds left. Bearclaw trying to tie this up at 4 apiece here in the search and destroy. 2 Real now over on the B-bomb site. Noisy with bomb in hand. Still is yet to make a move for Bearclaw. Slow, steady. Push around the corner could be here in just a moment. Don't have much time to work with here now as the round starts dwindling down. Player's going to be spotted out, and if 2 Real really wanted to, you can hop around the corner, maybe play spoiler. You're going to be able to find the first. Escape with your life almost. Noisy finds the trade, 3 versus 3, and now you're going to be able to push up onto the bomb. Cryptic doesn't realize that the player has now made their way up. Bomb will go down, 45 seconds left. Bearclaw all of a sudden has themselves slipped into a great position.
They could draw this one up 4-4, but once again, on the Desert Siege hop, it's Yuli, and I don't know that Noisy does get here just in time to check that, so great heads-up play from Noisy to check the bomb. They knew Stallions like to possibly play that, and a clean round from Bearclaw. You go even in the first blood, but you respond well by getting the bomb down and playing where you need to. Wonderful job to draw this up 4-4. They've won 3 straight.
Well, Cash, I'll be willing to say, from what we saw in the first few rounds, especially after the 4-1 lead for the Stallions, I love the Bearclaw Gaming roster. I think they have a lot of great talent, and especially after having Moch fall off for Exotic now being on the roster, they go from a team that doesn't make playoffs to being the first seed overall inside of Stage 2. So a lot of great things out of this roster. Really, both of these 2 teams made drastic changes after Stage 1 into Stage 2. Although it was only 1 player on each roster, being swapped in and out, it still has made a monumental difference for both of these 2 teams. Exotic, though, will find the first blood here in the round. Minute and 10, 45 seconds left. It's going to be a retake back over on towards that A site. Kaiser playing in towards the train. The rest of the Bearclaw Gaming members starting to make their way around the map. They've got a nice pinch play set up. If they can execute upon it, it'll be that much better with a 5-4 lead.
with bomb down, this just allows the clock to have to get work. 2 Real last alive in a 1v3. So now if you're Bearclaw, you have the chance to hop the bomb. 2 Real has to make a big play here, but with someone on top of train looking over bomb diffuser, is able to get a pick there, is able to get the diffuser. Now 1v1 against Chris Radio. This is huge. You gotta play the clock if you're 2 Real. And now, with not enough time to defuse, great job from 2 Real. Great heads up play to do that. Chris Radio on 7, but man, what a round for Stallions to take.
Ash, let me ask you this real quick, right?
All right.
So, in that situation, okay, you have the first player in a gunfight making sure that that 2 Real can't push from the spawn side to get back over towards the bomb to check it, right? The player in Noisy, who's hopped on the bomb, is completely defenseless, and your job is to watch over the top of it, right? I get Radio was playing for streaks, and you were backed up far, making sure that the player couldn't run around through the opposite spawn side. But you have to, and I mean you have to, if you're Radio in that position, find that trade, right?
You have to, yeah. No, you absolutely have to. Again, if you know your player is hopping the bomb and they're defenseless, especially over on that site, streaks or not, you've got to play for the round win, and that is locking down and looking over your player. If he's looking over Noisy in that situation, 2 Real doesn't go through and get those kills. So again, I get you're playing for streaks, and that's something you want, but now with Stallions at match point, that forces Radio to play the streak now. It doesn't connect and pay off. So what was a situation where you clawed yourself back into it, and now it feels like it's slipping away.
If you're Welly, you find that kill there, but that takes the player off the board that the streak was going to be used on. Sure, you have some information, but you won't have that for a final round if you are able to get to around 11. And if you're 2 Real, you're directly behind Noisy, who's going to be able to get this bomb down. Are you going to get some good timing, or are you going to get some bad timing? Looks to the left side. Noisy around the corner. Headshot. Going to be able to take that player out. 3 versus 2. 40 seconds left here. Bearclaw, last player alive. Welly, he's had a great stage 2 thus far. He'd have to pull off some theatrics here if they want to go ahead and clutch this up. He's going to be able to find the first. You look back over towards the right side to Kaiser. He spotted out beforehand. Kaiser, the one-on-one gunfight win. Diffuse going to come through the Stallions. Once again, history continues to repeat itself. A 6-4 Desert Siege when they played in the round robins. A 6-4 win on the Desert Siege here inside of playoffs. We'll hop back on board with this game in just a minute, but we'll take our looks over towards the European side of things. Stallions now up with the 2-0 series lead inside of that best of 5. Bearclaw early on might be falling to the lower bracket. 146 though, 114. Rocker Academy down by just a bit. It's a 2-1 lead here for the side of Team Vengeance in map number 4. Rocker Academy, they have to win this hardpoint if they want to survive. Cash, they're the best hardpoint team inside of Europe right now. They have to make it stick if they want to stay alive inside of the winners finals.
They do, and Vengeance, they're starting to run this score up. Now a 40-point lead, and P3 control. The claps coming in from Rockers. They're able to find a couple of kills, but they're going to need a solid hold to try to come back into this one. Of course, it's far from over, and we've seen Boccage scorelines go up, down, and side to side, but for Vengeance, this is how you needed to come out in this map 4 to close this one out. It's Boccage. That's going to be a favored map, knowing you're not the better respawn team, or at least in hardpoint. They've come out and they've done their job. Can they hold on? So often at the second set of rotations, we see teams start to take off in the late game. Rocker now down 20 points. Gonna try to find a way to break in early, but getting kills on rotation is gonna be Vengeance. They at least hold off the first wave. First 15 seconds should be clean.
Look to the minimap. Purple arrows trying to swarm over towards P3. Get those first 2 kills. 3-1 trade now comes in. Rocker slowly but surely willing their way in towards point number 4 in order to get as many points as they can to try and bring this series back. Wardy will fall middle map. Weeman contest still over in towards the hard point. You look in from the top side of things. Denza slides around the corner. A beautiful retake there from Vengeance. 4 quick kills in a row as Vengeance now 180, 137 trying to close out this Boccage the only way that they know how to. And that, of course, is slaying to the utmost extent. They want to close this series out in 4.
Maple trying to get pressure up to the top side of the map to get themselves positioning for P5. They're going to be up, but once again, about 50 points going over to P5, closing in on that 200-point mark. Like you said, they want to close this out in a 3-1 fashion, and what a game this would be for them to take. Now they're going to find themselves working across the map. Player 8 in middle is able to play cutoff over at P3, but on the hill, it's going to be Wardy finding the kills. Rocker with the close spawns are able to respond, but break in if you're Vengeance. Can't throw one-off lives at it. Find the picks, work the map that you need to. Don't let Rocker make this closer than what it needs to be. Right now, they're on and holding from the front. Players are killing around the site, so for Vengeance, you're doing what you need.
Maple finds a kill there on the Lucky. Real, Metals, They find a few back over towards the point. You go back and forth for 2 kills apiece. Journey trying so desperately to find the player in towards the point. More and more points in the hill go to the side of Team Vengeance, but finally as Rocker break on in, they can start climbing their way back up in towards that 200-point mark. Streaks for Denza. Rotations back over towards point number 1. Rocker Academy would love to get some good time here, but as Wardy finds yet another 2-piece here for the side of Team Vengeance. They're going to eclipse that 210 point. They only need 40 more points to take the series.
Rocker still in this with a big P1 to P2 hold, but when condition feels like it's set for Vengeance, dip your toe in, get 5 or so seconds here where you can. More importantly, keep Rocker off. And for Rocker, you have to get time first and keep Vengeance off second. You've got to work through the map and try to get spawns for P2, otherwise this game could very much be over. But whenever you have a team that's crossing that 220 point mark, you can't focus too much on spawns because you can't let them get P1 time. So for Rocker, you've got a decision to make. You've got to clear them off P1 and then make a rotation through it for spawns. But right now with Vengeance, they're holding on. They're holding the P2 spawns and doing what they need to in the mid map.
We're in the kill feed. 20 seconds left. Vengeance trying to take down the previous Stage 1 champions of Rocker Academy. Find themselves in the Grand Finals. This would knock Rocker Academy down to the lower bracket, where if they were to get back to the Grand Final, they would have to beat the side of Vengeance in 2 best-of-5 series if they wanted to see the light of day in winning Stage 2. Rocker Academy, though, from the front side, have been able to get into the point, but as Denza finds a nade over the top, it's going to be the side of Vengeance who are now back inside. Over on the north portion of the map, Vengeance starting to make their will known into the barn. One last push here from Rocker Academy. 5 seconds left. Real, all the way from behind, is able to find the first. You look for the second. 3 kills, medals. The last hope for Rocker Academy to win the Boccage, or at least extend it. Vengeance will take map number 4. They'll advance themselves into the Grand Finals and be guaranteed a top 2 placing inside of Stage 2 of Challengers Elite for the European region. Cash, Team Vengeance, they came in with a number 1 seed. A lot of people had questions of if they'd be able to beat Rocker Academy if they got to a winners finals against them. The answer is absolutely hardpoint being the winning game mode for Vengeance here with a 3-1 lead. We go back to North America now. Bearclaw, Stallions, inside of a control.
Stallions getting good progress here at B. Yuli sniffing out Exotic, the one that was closest to make a play on this site. Yuli also rips him off radio and says, keep on going, guys. This 3rd tick could be coming in here. Stallions, I mean, they're slaying. Yuli starting out 6-0, now 6-1. They've just been on another level. Again, they don't want to make the same mistake they did last time against this Bearclaw squad.
Yuli, nade. Looking to cook it over towards Welly. Sitting all the way back over by A. Find your way onto the point. 2 ticks of progress at B. You're looking for your second bit of progress over at the A site now. 44 seconds left. Trying to add an extra minute on to get 1 tick of progress at either site now. Both sites. Contestion could be there from Bearclaw around the back. Chris Radial tried to commit flank. Fortunately, though, 2Real was able to sniff it out. However, though, here comes Exotic all the way around the back. 2 good kills, 18-14, a minute and 40 seconds left to get 1 bit of progress over at B. You had a 5 life advantage on the offensive side, and now everybody is storming up the map here. As they push through the north side of the map, you're going to see the Bearclaw Gaming roster start to push back over towards B. They've got to get there quickly, though, because they don't realize that a 4-man resurgence is coming. The firing squad of the battalion, they're about to strike in the back.
And 2 players are still playing towards mid-map. Now we see them working back, but 2 get cut down for Stallions. Make that 3. You hold on if you are Bearclaw Gaming, but it's Kaiser staying alive in the back. That could be huge for the reinforcements to work in. Just trying to keep these players off and around the point, buy time for the team to come back. And they did the hard work early. They got 2 ticks of progression at B. All they need is 1 more clean play. They've been working it through P4 and through the back. Now if they can find 1 more set of kills, the stack should come in. And this 3rd tick of progression can fly up way quicker than you realize. Bearclaw, they have to respond.
Kaiser around the corner. You had a couple of players from Bearclaw there. Reinforcements are in. You still have 2 players in the back. And if you're able to just play your lives now, the players from the side of Stallions' offensive push on the spawn side might be able to get there. However, couple of good kills from Radial on the opposite side of the map is going to shut everybody down. So if you're the Stallions, you've got 35 seconds to work with. You've got 2 good hits of time for you. Problem is, you only have a 3 life advantage, and Bearclaw are playing so holed up inside of their spawn. You're going to have to take so much time at least finding 1 player that the reinforcements are going to be there by the time you get back over on towards the point. 22 seconds left. Here comes the hit up and towards the top of the church. Radial going to be looking for those first couple of players. Double nade over from Yuli as well as Cryptic is going to be big, but Noisy is going to be able to clean up the repairs. 2 go down. Now the last player's in the spawn side. 2 real there. Kaiser trying to follow suit. Exotic had a huge 2-piece on the flank beforehand. Now with just 1 player left over towards the zone with 3 seconds left to try and get back on that point. Radial will clean it up. The last player on the staircase is Yuli. The Stallions, despite a great effort and of course having tons of time with only a tick of progress needed over on B, will fall short there at the end. Bearclaw holds strong and Defiant on the defensive side.
A round lost, but you got 5 out of 6 tick progressions, and so that could serve them very well in the late game, especially on an early offensive round. They have to respond big on defense and know that they just have to hold Bearclaw to less ticks. They're going to really fight for this A site, and of course Bearclaw are going to look to try to get progression to be again that harder site. We've seen teams throwing resources at it, but it's going to be all 4 players flying at this A site early on for Bearclaw. They want to get as much time on the clock as they can, but the gunfights go in the way of Stallions early.
Exotic will cut down Cryptic, middle of the map. Exposed here now though for the set of Bearclaw. Noisy jumps around the corner. 4 and 10 from Welly. Unfortunate start here instead of the control thus far. However, it was at least allowing them to get the defensive sided win early on in that first round. So 27-26, trying to find that second bit of progress here over towards A. Would love to have another minute on the clock here with already a minute and 14 on it. Nobody from the Stallions has really pushed up the map, so this should be a pretty easy bit of time here for Bearclaw. You are the Stallions though. You're just trying to conserve your lives. Noisy is going to be the first one pushed up the map for Bearclaw at the time being. But again, Stallions looking to make that same kind of pinch play that the side of Bearclaw did previous round beforehand. Yuli could play spoiler here on a long flank.
Yuli could be doing just that, but it's 2 real. Kaiser handling things on balcony and in radio. Yuli finally coming in with a pinch, does find the kill, so it works out. But these players are already pressed back up in mid-map for Bearclaw, and they got wiped. So now mid-map back in the hands of Bearclaw Gaming. They have a chance to push into B and get clearance on the site. You have to hold on for quite a while if you're Stallions. 1 minute and 45 seconds still. Lives dead even. So for Bearclaw, it's 1 clean wipe and a stack. Stallions have a lot of work. They're banking a lot on their ability to hold this B site. And they need to respond on defense here. If they let Bearclaw go up 2-0 taking an offense, that could spell trouble for the round.
From the Stallions, at least from the first round, we're slaying everybody out. That tells us that we should be able to hold on the defensive side and hold all the way in the back, especially with the way that the ARs have been playing over the top. 13 and 9 here from Yuli, 12 and 10 from Cryptic. Bearclaw trying to make their way up the map, but over on that B site, everybody gets chopped down. Back to the respawn block they go. Noisy will back off here and towards the middle of the map, escape with a life, wait for the reinforcements to make a northward turn on the map. They're going to be trying to get all the way in the backside spawn of the Stallions. They should be keen to this, though, knowing that nobody's going to be pushing through the middle map or over by P5. Noisy, once again, will be lining the troops up, being the first one to go forward, and as he pinches around the side, Cryptic looking all the way over towards the back and communicate this to the rest of the team, and look at all those red arrows. They're all looking at the back of the map. Exotic's going to be the first one to push up and towards the point. Around the right side corner, first gunfight's going to go the way of green. Bearclaw going to find the first. Yuli, 2 big kills. Yuli finds 3. 2 reels going to be able to clean up the last one as well. That cuts things down to 40 seconds of time. 16-12, the lives go. The Stallions, with 3 kills on 2 different players, are going to have themselves an advantage once again.
I love this play from Stallions. They get the wipe on the site, knowing that there's only 30 seconds left. They fly up in the mid-map and try to cut these players down off of spawn. But with 1 player not being over at P5, that does open up that lane for them. So now Welly gets 1 as well. That does open that up. So it was a potential play to cut off at mid-map. Opens up P5 for Bearclaw to break through. They stop the clock at 9 lives left. They could not afford to fall off this point one more time, but they have the site clearance. All 4 on it. The stack's coming in. Stallions, they've got to fly.
Welly, looking to the back. 2 ticks of progress. You've got to get off your spawn side. First playable player's not going to push up. Noisy and Welly go big. Everybody from Bearclaw Gaming stacking the point the best way they could. A 2-0 lead here in control. We talked about earlier on in the series that if one team was better than the other in control, it was Bearclaw. A 2-0 lead yet again, trying to prove another reverse sweep against the Stallions to be the most effective and efficient way to best them in a Game 5 series. Gosh, we still got a long way to go, but a 2-0 lead now back on the defensive side here has to bode well for a control win.
It does. Cryptic opening up with 2 once again is a good way to go about it. Now 2 players left. here on this site to try and make this B hit work. And we said in the keys to victory, we had at least written down for Stallions, knowing that it goes to ticks of progression, creative plays no longer punish you in control. For Stallions, their last offensive round, which of course was their first, all of their hits came through A. They maybe took one shot through P5, so nothing really creative. It was just a flat one-dimensional offense. They didn't go flank plays or different looks or try to work pinches. It was all 4 players through one lane of the map. I'd like to see them switch that up here on offense to give Bearclaw a different look and not do something so run-of-the-mill. And as 2 players have control in the back and now they're spawning close roof, they have a chance to get on this point, but no one is just yet. They're trying to get some more clearance here over on B before they work a stack.
Good opening break from Bearclaw allows them to have a 1 life advantage, 23-22. Here comes Noisy on another flank. Chris Radio will help out back open towards the top of the church. Jumping on towards the top of the platform, Cryptic will find the second kill in a row. 2 Real's going to be there. Has to be careful though, because Exotic's coming from the flank side of spawn. One-on-one gunfight. Exotic's going to be able to find the best of the shots there. Yuli and the rest of the team now trying to get back over towards the B site. Again, we saw a very similar situation inside of the first offensive round for the Stallions, where they got those first 2 ticks of progress over at B. Excuse me, Noisy, you probably shouldn't be doing that. And then, of course, going back over towards A, getting an extra minute on the clock. This time, no cash. Only 20 seconds left. You're basically just trying to put every egg in the basket that you can and say, screw it. If they break here, well, we're out of options. We'll go to map 4.
That's exactly it. They have to win this B point. They have dedicated this entire round to this B site. Now with Noisy calling in a streak and everyone stacked on the side, this could be a multi-kill. It's going to be a double. Welly finds the third. Yuli the only one left. Yuli does find a double, but again, with no time left, he was able to get the site secured. I didn't even realize that came through.
Wow.
I thought with all of the kills, it didn't. So for Stallions, I mean, it slips under my radar. Wow. I thought that was a round, but it wasn't. Yuli sticks it out on the point. They get the progress in, now just needing the closer sight and 60 seconds left. The lives may come into favor as Welly pops 3 and they're working their way around the map, but if you're Stallions, now we see the creative play coming in. Now we see player 1 and Yuli working a flank. This is where the Stallions team excels. With 45 seconds left, this could be a huge play.
Oh, but on the flank, player number 7 and Chris Radial, who was able to spot out the flanking Yuli. So you cut that player down. Again, although we say B is usually the site that's hardest to break on in, don't underestimate how difficult it can be to break back in towards the A site when another team is just focusing everything that they have on it, because Noisy's here from behind. He's able to find 1, make it 2, tries to go for all 3. That's Captain Noisy to you. He'll shut everybody down. No respawns remaining for the Stallions. Cryptic in the bottom of church tries to go pig. But Tyler Noisy will clean up everybody. 2 lives remaining here from the Stallions through the middle of the map. Everything is futile. Bearclaw Gaming, they start the reverse sweep with a control win here on Tuscan. Seldom do you see a 3-0 win. Bearclaw shoves it right in the face of the Stallions. We go to a map number 4 as they try to go ahead and force yet another game 5 against the Stallions roster.
Bearclaw exploded behind big plays. Noisy popping 3 on the flank. Welly on the transition to A, also finding 3. Like you said, that A site can be so difficult to find. You think it's easy because it's closer, but if you're not winning the gunfights, it keeps the defensive team right there. Stallions not able to get pried through that site. I'm still a little mind blown that they got the B site. It gave them a minute to work with, but Bearclaw, they didn't show any kind of give, and it's showing eerie shades of the last series. I've got to say, the last time they played, Stallions, balls in your court to respond. But man, Bearclaw, what a way to get some momentum back going into map 4.
We'll take a look at the stats here from our previous game. Tuscan Control, Yuli, 2 Real, Kaiser, Cryptic. Again, unfortunately, just a little underwhelming of a control game. Again, I know how good Bearclaw are when it comes to control. That is very well known across the entirety of challengers. But you look to Exotic, had a huge, almost round-saving kill feed that came in at the very beginning round when the Stallions were on the offensive side. Got through on a flank, was able to pop 2, found the third one as well. It was big, 24-19 from him. Everybody else on the roster, maybe not the flashiest numbers overall, but it was very, very key moments around the entirety of that control that really allowed Bearclaw to put themselves in the driver's seat. And of course, Cash, as you highlighted at the very beginning when we hopped into that game, that first offensive round that went to Bearclaw was the difference maker overall. You win the defense, you go back to another offensive round win, and boom, there you go. It's GG's. Stallions, you know, you still got a map to close this out here, but I would not want to go to a map number 5. Just saying.
I agree. If I'm Stallions, I'm not trying to waste any more time in the series than I have to. You don't want history to repeat itself. You don't want to push this to a map 5 because, again, Noisy is that difference maker for the squad. I mean, currently running a 1.4 in S&D. Of course, they lost 6-4 in the first one, but Bearclaw, to win this, of course, they have to push it to that game 5, and that's
Yep.
even looking further ahead. Of course, we still have a whole map 4 to go, but looking ahead, that's something I'm looking at. Noisy there turned up at the end as well. Whenever, like you said, Noisy gets going, it's very hard to stop this team.
Sure.
And so Stallions, they really got to pump the brakes on this Bearclaw squad, stop any more momentum from going their way.
I mean, you said it specifically. I mean, you can look back to the previous statistics from the series that they played against the Stallions the last time. It was when Noisy got going in map number 3 that everything turned around. It was a 35-23 performance on Tuscan, specifically in map 3 on a control from Noisy that allowed them to not only take that 3-2, but then we went to a Tuscan for map number 4, which unfortunately won't be where we're heading here if you are the side of Bearclaw Gaming, but you still could very easily influence the game in your way there. But again, it was another 28 game high performance there from Noisy, and of course 13-4 when it came to the search and destroy at the very ending of the game of that series, where again Captain Noisy decided he wanted to take over yet again. So we look ahead to the rest of the series, a double dosage of Berlin for the last 2 games. Of course, if we go the distance to Berlin for that map number 5, that's the biggest thing. But map 4, hardpoint on Berlin, you would at least assume in a general sense that that could favor the side of the Stallions just a bit more with some of their AR gameplay. But at the same time, it could be a much different story now that a 3-0 win is under their belt. And of course, Bearclaw have a bit more confidence, I would say.
A bit more confidence for sure. Boccage is ones again where it's hard to find yourself out of that mix. Bearclaw have definitely established themselves beyond that map in this series with that control win. So going into this one, I definitely expect them to be playing a little bit better. Stallions, they're the more, I guess, quote unquote, like loose team. They play a little more loose,
Sure.
and that can be a good and a bad thing on a map like Berlin where you do need some structure, and some discipline on rotations. Loose doesn't necessarily mean you don't play that way. It just means you can play a little more relaxed. But for Bearclaw, a team that can really, as we even saw in the control, more traditionally punish you just from a pure rotation sense whenever they know and get to the positions they need to be in. Stallions, they can't have a lapse here. They've got to have good judgment and make good decisions here within the Berlin. Otherwise, Bearclaw, they can take one off before they even know it.
I mean, specifically, I'm not sure if Sport. I'm not sure if you could do this for me, but for the side of the Stallions, I would love to just take a look at Yuli specifically. Overall, is kind of a pain point for this roster, because Yuli is one of those players to where, again, you take out Gunzi from the equation of Kaiser to Real and Cryptic, you add in Yuli, and he overall has been a very great boost of confidence for this roster. You see a 1.03 in hardpoint, the 1.14 in S&D. Sure, the control KD is not the greatest, and that kind of was reflected by the entire roster inside of map 3, but a 0.98, sure, it doesn't look great when you just look at it at a base value, but when you take into the consideration what Yuli has done to not only boost this team's morale, but take them even further than where they couldn't even qualify for stage 1, I think that is something that a lot of people should not take lightly and not underestimate. So for the Stallions overall, hey, you still got a 2-1 advantage. You go into this Berlin hardpoint. Again, you're trying to make sure that the reverse sweep doesn't happen again. That's the only concern you have right now, besides wanting to get to the grand finals, or excuse me, not the grand finals, the winners finals here in the winners bracket of the North America side of things. Because again, Cash, every single year, every single stage that we've seen inside of the elites is always somehow, some way crazier than the one previous before it. This one has already been shaping up the exact same way. So easily we could see game 5 after game 5 throughout any given match, any given time here inside of North America, because it's always a toss-up between which team's going to be the best per stage.
It is. And again, for Stallions, you can't look too far ahead, right? You still have, I'm not even look too far ahead towards the end of the map. Of course, you want to close out in 3-1. Don't look ahead to the possibility of game 5. It's like in the back of their mind, right? That, well, this is how you kick off a reverse sweep. They won the control. But they just, this is where they need to show like that they are one of those top teams. Again, Bearclaw is a top team going or in this stage and in playoffs, so to win against them would be huge in a 3-1 fashion, let alone would be monstrous as well. But just focus on what you got to do right here, right now to close it out. And for that, it's play disciplined in your rotations, win the gunfights that you need to. They obviously took care of business on the Boccage by over 150 points, but play loose, but play with discipline and decisiveness for Stallions. So that's how they can take this off of Bearclaw. And for Bearclaw, just keep chipping away like you have been. That's how you can find yourself pushing it to a game number 5. But even if you get it there, it's still a lot of work to do against the Stallion squad.
Lobby is restarting in the background. So as we go ahead and ponder over this match a bit more, Cash, you know, we've talked about, okay, what does Bearclaw need to do here on Berlin? What do the Stallions need to do here on Berlin? My biggest question here overall inside of the series is, what are the Stallions going to bring to the table in a mindset? Because I don't think it's going to be to the point where it's like, oh my god, we lost, you know, in a reverse sweep to Bearclaw last time. Most of the players in the amateur scene, at least at the top level, are much further beyond than letting a few jitters and nerves get into the back of their minds before a map comes out. But for the Stallions specifically, a team that has shown really great success in hard points, but at the same time also faltered in a lot of those same ways. What is the big difference maker here for the Stallions to not only take this Berlin hard point, but take down Bearclaw? Who do they have to stop in order to make sure that happens?
I mean, you can point at any of the Bearclaw players, but for me, it's got to be Noisy. Noisy is just that across any mode takeover player where once he gets rolling, once he pops a 3-piece or 2 in the feed, that's how you know this Bearclaw squad is like rallied behind him and ready to go. That's who they have to be willing to shut down and make those flank plays, right? Don't turtle up and get scared for any reason. Still make the confident plays that you know you're able to. Yuli running the flank is such a huge thing. Of course, Bearclaw, they're ready for it and they've been sniffing it out. Give them different looks, whether it be a delayed flank or working a late pinch, something like that. But yeah, the player they've got to stop for the side of Bearclaw to definitely get that ball rolling for them, it's going to be Noisy for me. That's just such a game changer for the Bearclaw squad.
Well, if we can take a look at Noisy's overall statistics here from stage 2, that would be a blessing overall, though. But specifically speaking, more than anything else, Cash, I think one player that has kind of had a very quiet series thus far has been Welly, but we'll talk about that in a second. Just take a look at this real quick. This kid is disgusting. 1.09 overall, sure, whatever. But when you come to hardpoint, 1.08, 1.01 in the control, respectively. But when you get to that 5th map or any search and destroy, wherever it may be, I don't know what it is about Noisy. I don't know if it's the pace that he plays at, what he does on the map, or how he carries himself. But the dude is different when it comes to S&D. It's ridiculous. So 1.40 throughout the entirety of stage 2 inside of S&D. Cash, that is why, at least in my mind, if you're the Stallions, you do not want to see a map number 5, because the last time you did, you pissed Noisy off and he went 13-4 in your mouths throughout the entirety of map number 5. Now, on the opposite side, though, Stallions, they look to close this one out here. They absolutely have the gumption and the ability to do so. 2 real Cryptic going to be the first 2 in the point. The first blood goes to the way of the Stallions. The first team to double digits is going to be the Horses.
Sorry, Bearclaw trying to work a flank here through fire and through P4, and it's going to be just that, but Yuli aware of it, watching his back, able to find that kill, very big as the players are winning the gunfights on the hill. You take care of business if you're Stallions. You got players starting a couple of streaks here, just on 2, nothing too crazy, but something to keep an eye on. And you've taken the first 35 seconds of this P1 very cleanly. Set yourself up to get about 45 seconds of this time, because Bearclaw, they're already opting for the rotation. They said, you know what, it's going to be 50 off the rip, but we're going to look to respond just as big. 2 real on a flank, though. I think, yep, Exotic has the read. So response opportunity now in for Bearclaw as P2 pops.
The early rotation on over towards P2. Stallions trying to work their way from the south portion of the minimap. Take your attention to the gunfight on screen. Exotic's going to be able to win a huge one-on-one against Yuli. That's going to allow them to have that south side, or rather the north portion, control for a bit of time. Cryptic was able to find Exotic, now gives away the positioning. Well, he was sitting all the way in the back, should be able to find the shots on the Cryptic, peppers him up, should be able to be a trade there instantaneously. Noisy's going to be able to help out in the party. Back over towards the window. Well, will you let Noisy get 2, maybe a 3rd one out towards top fire? So as Radial now starts to make their way up the map, he'll be on 5 in a row. Well, what? Make it 6 as well. Headshot going to be there. Player that we haven't, I guess, talked too much about, but has made tons of influential plays thus far for Bearclaw Gaming, has been Chris Radial. Radial is another one of these shining stars here for Bearclaw, and I guess it's a good thing to say. Welly, Radial, and Noisy all have so much chemistry with and around one another that it's frankly scary.
And how they're playing right now is frankly scary. They gave up that P1 with confidence, responding with a near full 60 of their own on P2, so I'm interested to see who gets the first break. It seems like neither squad have been able to do any of that through the first 2 hills. It's Stallions in early control. of P3. Now a pinch play coming in. These players pinned in the top portion of the map for Stallions. You just got to find the kills if you're Bearclaw, and well, you haven't had a problem doing that. Full streaks coming in for Radial. This isn't a hill you'd use it on, but you're feeling loose and warm. So Stallions, the break's coming on, and gunfights aren't really going your way.
I don't know the last time I could tell you where I saw two hills just go back and forth where both teams just say, you know what, we're just going to give you 60, we're going to take 60, we're just going to handshake this back and forth. That was almost a mirror image perfection for both teams, and we're about to see it maybe once again here as the Stallions are going to hold on. It was one break that came in. The final one here from Exotic won't find anything, but that last little push there from Bearclaw might have spelled trouble because they're going to be on the rotation here, but a little bit too late because the Stallions are already set up over by P4. Too Real, Yuli, both set up. Welly is now just pushing all the way through the back line here, where the Automaton is going to have to wait for the reinforcements to come on through. Luckily, they find Kaiser before he was able to spell trouble on the flank.
The first 3 hills go clean, 50 seconds. 100 of it obviously going the way of Stallions, and the difference now in this P4 is they did have the rotation, but Bearclaw, they break in early, so 20 seconds go by, and Stallions may be able to get 10 of it. Bearclaw not able to get the kills needed to get back spawns at the moment and get complete site control. They're looking to do that and sniffing at the last player in Cryptic. Now they afford themselves more time on the clock, but they find themselves down 50 after P3, and they have to find a way to respond big. And with 20 seconds left for Stallions, you've got the advantage. You made the P4 scrappy. You gave yourself a 50 point lead, and now it's up to Bearclaw to respond. But once again, you find yourself on a rotation.
You know, for the Stallions, again, you get into the playoffs if you're in a tie by head-to-head virtues, right? But the thing is for the Stallions, you came into the playoffs because you were in a 4-way tie at 3 and 4 with 3 different teams. UIU goes ahead and finds it with them. Infamous, and of course, whatever it takes, kind of all fell out into the wayside. So, you know, for Stallions, it's not a blessing that you're here, but the fact that you were able to win some of your head-to-heads and some of them that you lost, but somehow it was the tiebreaker ones that you needed to win was already crazy. Now you're the 4th seed coming into this, and if you're Bearclaw Gaming, you're staring down the barrel of your gun right now, and this is almost self-inflicted wounds. The Stallions have been playing great, but Bearclaw, they're not living up to their potential, specifically from map number 1, which was a painstaking map to watch.
It was, and you know, even in traditional sports, you can call that playing down to your competition. But really, I think Stallions have come out a little more electric than Bearclaw were expecting. I'm not saying it's a team that took them lax by any means, but Stallions have the potential in their roster, and like you've said, behind Yuli, who's been brought in and been playing well. Just a way to turn things up to 11, and just a scrappy team just really gets down and gets the job done when they need to. They've been doing that all series. They dropped the control, unfortunately, but they've given themselves the opportunity to have a lead here on the hard point. Now they just have to find a way to respond and get the break, because when Bearclaw get rolling, like we've mentioned time and time again and alluded to throughout the series, it is so hard to stop Noisy. Our difference maker player that we're keeping an eye on at 12 and 8 is someone who, once he gets going, it can be really hard to stop. Now Bearclaw, what was a 50-60 point deficit, have found their way back to the nearly tied game, and they are in control for P1, so it's up to Stallions to look to make a break, and that's coming on here through the left side.
Went towards the top, Noisy. Nade gonna be able to find it. Bearclaw Gaming, Stallions. It was a bit of a gap between pointage, but now it's Bearclaw Gaming break in towards P1. They're gonna find themselves their first lead ever since P2. The Stallions now going to rotate themselves all the way back over towards the male side of things. But guess who it is? Route Man Noisy all the way in the back. MP40 going to be able to make some noise onto the first one. Escapes with their life in towards the back side of the buildings. And now as everybody from P1 can start to rotate back towards P2, the only player that they need to worry about is Yuli and player number 5, who might be pushing over from Fire. Pinch in towards the point. Going to give them at least a bit of a lead for now. Back and forth they go. However, it's a 3-1 trade there of all red in the kill feed. The Stallions found their way back in towards the point.
Getting this time and answering back, it's going to be who can get a clean break and get time after that, as we are at a near neck-and-neck game. It's been a pinstripe kill feed on these hills that go inside ever since they opened up with the 50-point hills. It's been back and forth ever since. Bearclaw with the slight advantage as they are able to break back into the hill that they had rotation on, now getting the last 25 seconds of time. And for Stallions, if they don't contest this again, and more so not if they don't, but if they can't, because Bearclaw are pressed so far up into Fire, this is going to be now a 40-point lead for Bearclaw Gaming as we make our rotation over to P3.
No, Welly has the AR in hand this game. And, well, at 21-9, he was sitting just before he had ended up falling in the middle of the map. He had 7 kills in a row, so full streaks now for the set of Bearclaw. You have that in the back pocket, and as I say that, the glide bomb's going to be used in up and over the top. Kaiser, who's sitting in towards that B bomb site, won't be hit by it, but the information is going to be there. I'm not sure if they changed that in a recent update or not, but that was the first time I think I've seen all season long that a glide bomb doesn't go straight through the roof and kill somebody inside that B site.
A wasted streak, maybe, but Willie's back on 4 and finds 2 in the feed, so I mean, it doesn't really matter. Willie doesn't care. Willie's on 5 and just making it happen around the map. Willie is on 6. The guy can't stop. I mean, again, you had talked about after the control, a slow series and a slow respawn in the control has come alive here for them in the hard point. What they need to push themselves to a map number 5, Willie is getting done. Everyone on Bearclaw on the back of him to carry them through this hard point. Now a huge point swing. What was down 50, now they find themselves up 40 points. Clean rotations for them. For the Stallions, we said it needed to be clean and decisive. Couldn't be too loose because Bearclaw will punish you if you make mistakes in respawns. And now they have to answer back with a big hold here and try not to let Bearclaw cross that 200-point mark. Because once you do that, well, it's starting to look a little bit dire.
Heiser, huge win on the staircase against Radial. Allows them to keep that positioning up and towards that top portion of the middle map. Welly. Another glide bomb. Won't find anything with it this time, but it's on 7 in a row still. Noisy, who's on 2, looks around to that right side corner. You're just trying to push all the way into the backside spawn of the Stallions now. Noisy will get a trade there in a technical way onto Cryptic. Kaiser's going to be able to make the pinstripe kill feed yet again. As Exotic and the rest of the boys from Bearclaw Gaming pushing up the map, they have done a stellar job of not allowing the Stallions to get any sort of time here on P4. Now they can sit up for P5. The scrap time going in their favor.
And they've been doing the hard work of keeping, like you said, Stallions off that point. You start to set that win condition further and further in place. On P5, they don't need every second of this P5. Can you keep Stallions off of it? And then can you get time here and there? But more importantly, if you can just keep Stallions off this P5, give yourself the rotation to P1, which they are already getting the kills to set themselves up for, they could close this one out here in the next hill and a half. So for the Stallions, you have to find a way to respond big, but it's game set point. If you are Bearclaw, and they could close this one out and push us to a 5. They've just got a little more work to do.
Right side corner, Welly, AR, long range shots. 2 Real, Yuli going to start making their way back across. Exotic's going to be the first one out around the building. 2 Real will trade it out instantaneously. A great 3 kill feed goes in the way of the Stallions. Noisy's going to be there inside of fire just to play a bit of a spoiler here for it. That was an aggressive gunfight. I get you have to take that, especially since you're running out wide in the open. Fortunately enough, you're going to spawn back over towards that left side of the map, but that is just one of those gunfights where you have to shake your head and you're like, dang.
And now, Bearclaw with control of P1. They've been getting clean time when they have the P1 rotation, so look to see that again. They can win it here. Obviously, Stallions don't need to contest for much in order to push it to a P2, only being down 20 points as well. They aren't in a bad position, but they need an early break. They've been struggling to break when Bearclaw have good holds. They've got to find a way to change that around here, and with the gunfights going down, it's about to blow up here.
Welly has introduced himself into this map. This series really feels like the breakout performance that Welly needed. Down the staircase, though, 2 Real's going to be able to find those shots. Chris Radial decides he wants to come up through the middle of the map. 30 seconds left here. Neither team can win off of this hard point, but the Stallions can find themselves their first lead since way back in towards their second set of rotations on hill number 2. 216, 212. Bearclaw Gaming have broken back in thanks to 2 quick kills from Noise and Exotic apiece. You look to Yuli, who's trying to play spoiler in an upset over towards that next set of rotations, but guess who is already set up in P2? It's Bearclaw Gaming. They win this, well, you could be looking at map number 5 just down the barrel.
The Stallions unfortunately had to focus on the rotation, but that gave up 15 seconds of scrap time. Now putting Bearclaw 15 seconds away from winning the game. The streak should flush this player out of the V-bomb side. It doesn't, but it doesn't matter because Welly and Noisy are popping off in P2 to get site control and to win this game. Now 4 seconds left. No one close enough to contest. Corn, we're going to game 5.
250, 212, map number 4, game 5 on the loom. Look. 2 things. Number 1, yes, this is an attempt at a reverse sweep yet again by Bearclaw. That's the first thing. Number 2, the Stallions have had 2 good looks at being able to close out maps number 3 and 4. Maybe not the greatest look in map 3, if we're being completely frank, but map number 4, they had a great look to close out that hard point there and send us to a Stallions winner finals and, of course, a Bearclaw lower bracket run. We don't get to see that now. No, we get to go to map number 5. Bearclaw give Welly a massive performance there in map number 4. I believe he basically had 40 kills there when everything was said and done overall. But we'll take a look at the statistics here real quick because I want to get that absolutely certain. But yeah, right there, 38 and 17 there from Welly, a monumental map number 4 performance. That puts Bearclaw now with tons of momentum in their favor. They've got 2 maps under their belt and great performances from really everybody else on the squad. Although it doesn't look, maybe pitch perfect across when it comes to KD ratio. You look at the hill time, everybody's splitting everything together. It's very, very calm, collected, and conceit when it comes to Bearclaw Gaming, what they're doing around the map. You look to the Stallions side of things, Cryptic doesn't have a great game, Yuli not a fantastic game either. It was a very close hard point when it was all said and done, but there were many moments in that game where the Stallions could have capitalized and extended their lead a bit further and not allowed Bearclaw to come back into it. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, and now we go to a map number 5, back on Berlin yet again. Cash, we've seen 4 incredible maps thus far. And again, as I said, time and time again, as this series continued to play out, it was a reverse sweep inside of the round robins that put the side of Bearclaw in position to be the number 1 seed. It's looking like that could be the exact case and scenario once again here in the winners first round. Cash, talk to me, please. I need something. Just anything.
Yeah, no, I know, and I'm trying to find something to give you, but I want to say Stallions still stand a chance in the S&D, but we've seen this film before. We've seen how it's played out, and it went to Bearclaw. They again. When you kick off a reverse sweep, I mean, they've won 2 maps. All signs are pointing to Bearclaw win. They just are. You win in a 3-0 fashion in the control. You come out and you take care of business on the Berlin hardpoint. Now you're going back to a Berlin S&D. Maybe for Stallions, the pacing could favor them in a sense that because that was a pretty quick hardpoint, they could slow things down. But this is a team that likes to play loose and pretty quick. So for Stallions, you really have the question of what's your response? You've taken 2 big hits in the response. How do you respond to make sure you don't lose in a game 5 situation once again?
That's the biggest question for sure. Overall, though, I will say this: while this match is going to a game 5, and you're not going to want to miss this, I promise you.
No.
At the exact same time that this is going on, though, youtube.com/COD Challengers is where our main broadcast is live right now. It's the opposition to what Stallions and Bearclaw Gaming are playing as right now. Of course, that is going to be UYU going up against their opposition inside of that game. So, Cash, let me ask you this. With Texas Nation and UYU on the opposite side of the bracket, which of these 2 teams do you want, or rather, which of those 2 teams would you rather play if you're one of the teams that wins this series here? And I guarantee you your answer is probably not going to be Texas Nation.
You are 100% correct. I do not want to play Texas Nation. This team has been ferocious. They're different. It's like the next level. So yeah, I want UYU. Just to answer your question simply, not Texas Nation.
Well, thank you. Very simple put. But yeah, no, Texas Nation is a very scary team when it comes to the playoffs. It doesn't really matter. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter what you do in like it's the regular like round robins to stage 1. If they make it to playoffs, dude, like you gotta be willing to throw everything in the kitchen sink of the Texas Nation roster because they are one of those teams that not only has the firepower to turn it on every single time, they've been one of the most consistent rosters throughout the entirety of Vanguard thus far. And consistency is a very scary thing, even if you're a hot and momentum-filled team like Bearclaw, like the Stallions are. You make a few roster changes from stage 1 to stage 2, you find yourselves in the playoffs. Now, granted, you'll be able to automatically qualify for stage 3 now, but either way... Cash, I mean, I'm just excited for this game 5, but here are the standings overall here for North America. Bearclaw, as we said beforehand, came in with a 6-1 record. Texas Nation was also tied at 6-1, but it was a 3-1 win against Texas Nation that Bearclaw had inside of stage 2 that allowed them to have that head-to-head tiebreaker for the first seed. So overall, Cash, what on this list stands out most to you?
I mean, for me, it's got to be, I want to say Texas Nation, it doesn't stand, it does, but it doesn't, if that makes sense, right? Like, you expect Texas Nation to be this good. For me, it's Bearclaw being top and not being top or top 2 in majority of the modes. They're tied for 4th and tied for 3rd between S&D and Control. So that's pretty standout to me. But again, what I've seen tonight, I know that it's not shocking that the squad can get it done. Looking at Stallions being 2nd in S&D, again, you know, on paper, you want to favor the Stallions in this game 5, but because we have seen this exact situation before, though they're tied for 4th, you know, I'm leaning the way of Bearclaw. But yeah, that's the standout for me, is that they're only first in hardpoint, and they dropped one in a very, very devastating fashion to Stallions.
And I mean, again, you look down the list, it was a 4-way tie, you know, with the different teams that were at 3 and 4 apiece. And then, of course, those 2 teams that were tied at the very bottom at 2 and 5. It wasn't like last stage where we saw a team that I believe didn't win a single series at all, which is a good sign going forward. But yeah, shut up, fellas. Overall, though, the cool thing about this season is that we have underdogs that didn't make the playoffs even in stage 1, rather alone just making stage 1 at all, being considered a top North American team this time around, i.e. the Stallions, i.e. Bearclaw. Because again, like I want to harp on this as much as possible, because it goes to show that, you know, sometimes we talk about teams staying together and slaying together. Yeah, cool. But also sometimes roster changes are necessary. Now, that's not to say you should go make a roster change right now if you're watching this and your team is struggling in your league matches, because that's a completely different ball game than North American Challengers Elite. But at the same time, you know, going for the Stallion side of things, you know, taking Gunzy off the roster, adding in Yuli has put them into a situation where they're now a top 4 team. And for Bearclaw, not having Moch anymore and bringing in Exotic has proven to be one of the best moves, if not the best move possibly that could have been made for this roster, especially now that they're that number 1 seed. Either way, Cash, map number 5. The Search and Destroy here on Berlin. 1 team moves on to the winners finals. 1 team moves down to the lower bracket. Stallions looking not to get reversed swept again by Bearclaw here in stage 2. Bearclaw wanting to prove their dominance as the number 1 seed, continue to find their way in this series, complete that reverse sweep, and of course make it to the winners finals. Offensive play over towards the B site to start things off. Nade over the top, won't find anything at least early on. No information just yet, but for the side of the Stallions, you know that Bearclaw is making their way over towards B.
Yeah, Noisy has a great opportunity here to make a play through P5 and get these players cut down. Of course, Stallions players are going to have eyes on that area of the map, but it's a stagnant push, and it's just a wall waiting to see who gives the first break. Yuli working around this train station, just trying to find any information, see if any players are over here, but really it's quite the even stack from either squad. Rotation now coming in very quickly over to A. This should be an all but free bomb plant unless Bearclaw make the read.
Be trying to put this down. Should be able to do just that. And well, 45 seconds left. 4 versus 4. Retake back from Bearclaw has to come in smooth. The first one on the staircase is going to be Noisy, cut down by Yuli, who not only gets that first plant, but of course the blood to come after the fact. Exotic with a pistol is going to be able to trade things out. 3 versus 3, 30 seconds left. You've wasted 15 seconds, but you have gotten 1 kill off the board. If you're Kaiser, you look up the staircase. Well, he was now pushing his way forward. 2 real on the bomb site. Doesn't want to give away his positioning just yet, but finally will. Radio slides around the corner from the staircase. It's going to be there on the backside window for a great challenge. A nice little bait and switch from the Stallions will open up the S&D with a nice round win.
Decisive rotation back to A. Like you said, they killed about a third of the bomb clock. They got the picks whenever Bearclaw opted to collapse on the site. So a good round from Stallions. Again, we expect this in their search and destroy. It's just, one, did they look to try to build a lead early? Or more so, can they respond when Bearclaw go on a run? You know Bearclaw are going to make a run. They were up 4-1 in the Desert Siege earlier. Went on a 3-round streak to draw it up at 4-4. So Stallions, they were able to handle that one and take a response. Does the pressure of the game 5 add any weight onto their shoulders? And have they made an improvement from the last time around in a game 5 scenario, especially against Bearclaw? That's what we'll find out. But to start, Stallions, they look to be in control.
That was a massive first blood there from 2 real, because you only had 2 players over at that A site to stop the 4-man hit that was coming through on the side of Bearclaw. So now the stun's going to come through. Noisy's going to wrap all the way back, tries to get out with his life, and will for the time being. Stallions now making their way back over in towards the site. Noisy with bomb could opt to rotate this back over towards B, but right now you're just trying to find that first pick.
And I wonder if Chris Radial is running this route back. I wonder if they do take this play over to B. Welly obviously still there to generate some noise and get some information, is going to get a kill. So that's huge. Now that makes a decision of possibly making this an A hit.
Oh my goodness.
Something they could do, but given those kills, they're going to rotate it back to B because they know Welly's here. They're thinking this hit is coming this way. A 3v2 situation, the bomb should go down for free. Welly opened that round up. What was indecisive, now a very clear-cut round for Bearclaw.
And that is such a perfect play on the side of Bearclaw. You read it perfectly. You make the best read possible. You get out scot-free over towards the B site. You force the rotation out of the Stallions. And now you've basically flipped the defensive side in your favor because everybody from Stallions is going to be pinching from the offensive side. Around the right side through the spawn. Play number 3 inside of the top of the mailroom. Play number 2 in 2-reel all the way through the back of the spawn. Welly just trying to hold the angle in a very long-range way. 18 seconds left for you to get back over towards the site. Noisy on the site. First one's going to challenge around the corner. Welly's going to be able to find the first. Escape with his life. Now Noisy. Last one alive over here towards the site. Not enough time for the defuse to come through. Beautiful round there from Bearclaw is going to allow them not only to go ahead and win, finally get themselves on the board, but Cash, that showed exactly their strengths and being able to come back from a deficit.
A wonderful response from them. It was a very collected round, and this is the best way I can describe this Bearclaw squad is composed. I mean, they've been tested in the heat of battle by the Stallion squad once before, and they find themselves stepping up to the plate and responding once again. We're at 1-1 in the search and destroy, so both back-to-back offensive rounds, both have been decisive rotations and bomb plants. Now we opt to see who ends up winning these first blood engagements, and if that can slow either team down, Bearclaw are going to get the information that players are moving over towards B. They do get the first blood as well, so on defense, they get the initial break and play. Now Stallions have to find a way to respond with bomb getting picked up by 2-reel.
As easy as it is for me to say, oh, you can just bring this over towards that B site. A lot of angry arrows looking over towards B. If you are Bearclaw, you've played this passive. You've played it smart. Stallions were able to go ahead and even things out at 3 versus 3, but you wasted about 45 seconds of time. Now you're just left with a game clock that's starting to dwindle slowly but surely. Nade over the top, should be able to find one, but 2-reel is going to be able to find Exotic first before that player, and Nade can finally find his way across the site. 30 seconds left. Now it's your turn to go ahead and make the rotation back over towards the A site. Bearclaw, once again, none the wiser. You would think that if you did it to him the last round, you'd be able to go ahead and turn right back around and say, hey, they're probably going to do it to us this time. The answer is simply no. You try for a pinch over at B, you're going to get the audio cue and the information that this bomb goes down at A, and now it's a trek all the way across the map.
Beautiful from Stallions, because I think the nade is what opened up that rotation for them, because they got the nade off of the player sitting in the B hut. That allowed them to force Bearclaw to have to respect the fact that they could still make a push to B. That opened up the rotation to A. So now a 2v2 retake. Welly down low has a chance to play spoiler, but 2-reel sees them both. Does the trigger discipline come in? It does. 2-reel with a huge play.
What awareness from the Stallions. You see Welly on the back of the staircase. Through middle map, you were able to just catch the tail glimpse of him going into the train station, up the staircase. You decide, hey, screw it. We've already got 2 players together. You make that pinch back around. A beautiful wrap to flank the flank. I love that. Times 10.
I love the trigger discipline more than anything, because 2-reel is just calming that to the team. You just know your teammates got that, right? You trust your teammate. Hey, win this gunfight. He's coming upstairs right now. You don't have to shoot him in the back because you don't have quite the angle to take the kill, or you can give away your flank position. Like you said, flanking the flank. And a team that's owned by Zoom, I expect nothing less from them. But the Stallions, a wonderful response. Again, all 3 rounds have been offensive wins. I guess I'm asking now, who's going to take the first defense? And to do that, well, you've got to be able to get control of a site. The offenses have been getting where they want to on these wrap backs and rotations.
You want to be able to work that bomb over towards A. At least that's where you're signaling it for the time being. Trying to get everybody from the Stallions rotated off of that A site. Get over towards B, so you can have a free little advantage for yourselves. But as Exotic finds the kill there on the 2-reel, that should be information that at least one of those players that was trying to rotate back over towards A is going to be cut down. Problem is, if you're Noisy, you have no idea if anybody else is still at the site. Obviously, we have the luxury and the leisure of being able to say, hey, there's nobody else over towards that A site right now. But as Chris Radial and the rest of the boys are set all the way back at B, rotation starting to hit over towards that A site as 3 arrows on the green side are now over.
Kaiser finds a huge pick on this site. Still not aware where the hit's coming from. This bomb will go down, but players are in decent position. At least Cryptic is, to maybe punch through this door and get a kill. Noisy just going to play behind this door and could get wonderful timing on Cryptic here. 3v3 retake has to come in. You've already killed about 10 seconds off the clock, looking to make that 15. Stallions, they've got to look to make a move, but right now they're just trying to find an opening, and Bearclaw is not giving them anything.
We're still at the doorway, but this time they're going to opt to go head back out towards the staircase. Exotic, though, was able to find the first kill there onto Yuli. Now flanking in from behind. Noisy is going to be able to find one. 1 versus 2, 15 seconds. You got to get these kills and the defuse with it. Noisy will sprint out towards middle map. Kaiser with a pistol there won't be able to find the player. All the way in from behind. Radial's going to be there. Kaiser, who's on 2 in a row. You would like to maybe at least salvage this round, find 1 kill. But the answer will probably be no. Actually, you're able to find one around the corner. You don't die to the bomb. Unfortunately, no. Noisy will get you through the wall. So, Bearclaw, 2-2 we go. They win themselves an offensive round. Gosh, this has been one of the slower Berlins that I've played. Or rather, I've casted.
And I feel like that's because it's all offense. No one has shown an aggressive flash on defense. It's been slow plays over to sites. And again, we've played 4 rounds. 2 of them, make that 3 actually, have been rotations to another bomb site in the late round. So it's felt slow because it has been slow. No one has shown any kind of aggression through the mid-map to try and get early picks. It's really just been set nades and playing off of information and long picks. So with the Stallions and how aggressive and fast they can play at times, I wonder what they opt to do on offense. I'm not expecting to see a fast mid hit, but Noisy breaking through train station coming through. This is the aggression I was talking about. This might go a bit quicker.
Kaiser in the back, watches for the flank. Noisy knocked off the board. 3 versus 4 on the retake. Stallions, another offense that they would love to have won here. Take a 3-2 advantage. With how far they are pushed back into their spawn right now, it's going to have to be such a quick and aggressive hit from Bearclaw here to not only get through the spawn, but start clearing out a few of these players. And that just seems almost futile at this point. Radial going to be the first one to push up around that right side. Kaiser, who is literally playing the furthest angle in the back spawn possible, finds the kill there. Well, he's got 3 now. I thought maybe, just maybe, Chris Radial gets that gunfight win. It should have been, but 10 seconds left. Oh boy.
5th offensive round win. What I thought was going to be faster, Noisy. Again, that was because Kaiser, like you had mentioned, was playing so far back on the map, not letting the flank come through. It's just a great heads-up plays. These teams are prepped and know each other's play style. Kaiser knows that Noisy can come through on the flank. So what's he do? Well, he pins his back to the fence in his spawn and just holds that line. Doesn't let any players through. 2 flank opportunities Bearclaw tried to capitalize on. Stallions were ready for. Kaiser on 4 gets the ace in the round, and a wonderful job from Stallions to, again, I say respond to these offensive hits. Who's going to make the first stand on defense and show a different look to try to stop these teams?
Bearclaw try to say anything you can do, we can do better. It's Kaiser, who's again on 4 in a row. It's those first couple of shots there. One of the players pushing up that B site. Back off for the time. Nobody just yet is able to make the play on the defensive side. The Stallions are just looking for a bit of information. Cryptic doesn't know that Welly's up there. Thought he might have been able to get some information there, but unfortunately isn't able to do so. Noisy from behind is going to be able to clean up the first kill by the way of a headshot. Bomb is going to go down over towards the B side at the exact same time. And if you're Noisy, you're just trying not to get cut down from the players that are trying to flank you around the back. Somehow gets the gunfight onto Yuli while being weak from an opposition across the map. Cryptic, you're worried about the wrong player here. Yes, you need to go ahead and find the kill, but more importantly, you've got to find those last 2 players who are all the way in the spawn side, back by B.
And that's Noisy's impact, just the ability to, like you said, turn the heads of those Stallions plays. You have to go and find him now that he took those gunfights. But with 20 seconds left, you have to win these and get the defuse. Now, a 2v1 situation, this is possible. Chris Radial's in a wonderful position to shoot the foot of Cryptic off the bomb. Not able to take the gunfight against 2 Real, and now a foot race to the bomb. Gets it with plenty of time to spare. The first defense is won, and that's because Stallions, they're able to sniff the players out in the back and get the kills that they needed. A wonderful response from them.
4-2. What would have been a beautiful snapper there by Chris Radial if he were able to find 2 Real. Turns into another round win here for the Stallions. So, 4-2 up. Boys in red trying to take down number 1 seeded Bearclaw Gaming here in round 1 of the winners bracket. Same time here, Cash. We get a double game 5 going on the opposite side of things. I'm being told now Texas Nation, UIU tied 1-1. If you want to watch that map, it's on youtube.com/COD Challengers. If you don't have both tabbed open, if you're on your PC, I don't know why you don't have that. But of course on YouTube, if you want to swap back and forth, you absolutely can on your mobile device. Noisy, trying to get Mixy over towards that B site. The first one pushed up here on the defensive side. Bomb still inside of P2 for the time being. This nade could be good enough to be able to take down Noisy. Unfortunately, won't be able to find the player who's out and towards the dock side. No information gathered on it either, so Yuli might just think that this bomb site is free.
And Bearclaw definitely get information on the cross as tags come in. Cryptic trying to look over Yuli here, and when he opts to break into that hut, yeah, it could be dangerous and trouble, but just as Yuli hops in, Noisy hops out, so that first blood is going to give away the fact that, yes, someone is here on this site, cannot get the bomb down. Chris Radio finds another kill, so blows up this offensive play by being able to find those picks. Yuli just doesn't have clearance to get this bomb down. Noisy in a great position to shut this down.
Radio doing the great job with the AR all the way up in towards the top of fire. Kaiser, who is just playing oh so slowly, backing over towards the spawn side of things, is going to allow a flawless round from Bearclaw to ensue after the fact. So, you lose an unfortunate round there where, figuratively, you probably could be up in a 4-3 advantage right now if you are Bearclaw. But fortunately enough there from the Stallions, you were able to win the one-on-one gunfight there towards the end of the one round where you were trying to get the defuse in. Radio just couldn't get the snappers onto both players. But now it's on a 2 spree. 3-4 we go. Still the advantage by 1 round of the Stallions. 9-4 here for Kaiser, 7-5 for 2 Real, leading the way for the Stallions overall when it comes to the search and destroy slaying numbers. That bomb is working its way over towards that A site, at least for the time being. First couple of shots won't be able to connect for a kill.
Quick wrap back over to B. All 4 players for Bearclaw making their way over here. The stun is going to connect, so Kaiser has some information that, hey, people are here, the tags come out. Noisy is going to get into that B bomb site and get it down. 4v4 retake. Not one of the first we've seen here, but on the B bomb site, the bomb is planted. Noisy gets out with his life. And so for Stallions, they've got to work some picks here. Interested to see if anyone might be trying to flank through A bomb site and through P4. Oh, it's Yuli. There you go.
But they changed up the pace a little bit. They have Exotic all the way in the back trying to watch for potential flank play. This time, though, it's the Stallions changing up their opposition. Now trying to go ahead, get a little bit more aggressive onto the actual bomb site itself instead of going all the way back around through the spawn side. They can actually send double players in towards the site. Noise is going to be the first one there. Yuli around the corner. You have multiple players who are going to be able to play these longer angles. If you're playing number 5 in Exotic, you have to run across the site. You've got to be able to go ahead and try your way for a challenge. Player on the side. You're going to be able to find 1, 2. Oh, can you find the third? No, the defuse is going to come in. The Stallions are able to get it off. So what would have been a game potentially saving round there from Welly, from Welly. Unfortunately, timing was at the very utmost essence there, and you were just able to hop on that bomb in time.
And Stallions needed all 3 players stacked on that bomb site to be able to get that, because Willie had to shoot the first 2 players first before focusing on the bomb. If that was one less player, that was one less person Willie had to kill, let alone your defenseless bomb diffuser. And for me, the game changer in this that now have Stallions set at match point is the fact that they won a defense. They were the first team to win a defensive round. That takes off so much pressure whenever you're the first one to get that done. Yuli trying to get a little bit of maybe aim assist for something through this site, but the nade's going to go in. And again, for Stallions, this is what we needed to see, the difference in them. Whenever they took a hit, they responded by winning a big defensive round. Now, with a wonderful bomb plant on this far side of the B bomb, Stallions are in control of this round.
Interesting plant. Well, the one player that could have made the difference there was Noisy. Falls to the hands of Yuli. 3 in a row, 35 seconds left. You've got to get all the way back over onto the site for a retake. But the good news is the bomb is planted on the offside. However, Yuli still alive inside of the bomb site. It's going to be able to find the second in a row. 25 seconds, and you could be moving on to the winners finals, besting your adversaries who tried so hard to find themselves a reverse sweep. Welly, the last one to fall. The Stallions allow history to not be rewritten in the exact same form it was previous in the round robins. They'll take down the #1 seed of Bearclaw in the first round of the winners bracket. They'll move on to the winners finals. They'll knock Bearclaw down to the losers round 1 matchup, where they'll be awaiting the loser of UIU and Texas Nation Cash. An incredible search and destroy, but more importantly, Kaiser game-saving plays in multiple rounds, 11 in 5 to end the S&D.
That, and for Stallions, you don't let Noisy catch fire. He went 7-6. That's a 1.1 KD, again, compared to the 1.4 that he's averaging. I mean, just averaging. So you know Noisy's that takeover player. Chris Radio had a slow game as well. Again, Kaiser, like you said, making game-saving plays at 11-5, 7 non-traded kills. I mean, looking at the first bloods, only 2 players for the side of Bearclaw Gaming were able to find first bloods. That right there tells a huge story in this S&D. But again, slow from Chris Radial, not an electric pop-off performance. They didn't let Bearclaw get any big plays in. So for Stallions, you adapted, you made the change from the last go around, and you were able to improve. They win in Game 5.
Hard to complete a reverse sweep. They were able to do it once inside again of the regular season of round robins in stage 2. Getting a second reverse sweep in a playoff scenario where you're trying to best your opponents yet again and they're trying to get revenge, it's even more difficult. They were almost able to do it despite late game heroics there from the Stallions to be able to clutch up in game number 5. 6-3, the Berlin search and destroy goes. The Stallions remain triumphant. The roster change that they made still continues to be incredibly pervious and alluding towards what could be a final matchup in the winners finals that could get them to the grand finals. Cash series, we see it on our screen now. What was the turning point, I guess, in this series for the Stallions to be able to not only avoid the reverse sweep, but be able to take it there in the S&D?
The turning point for me was that defensive round they won, but also Kaiser and avoiding the flank playing, holding off 2 flank plays by what we saw playing deep train station and then playing all the way back in their spawn when the second flank came through. That's just a heads up awareness that they knew Bearclaw likes to do that. We're going to be ready for it, not once, but twice in the same round. So for me, that was the game changer for Stallions to avoid and really hold off that reverse sweep from coming through. But they also did the work early, and you've got to tip them that.
Stallions will move on to the winners finals. Bearclaw will move down to the lower bracket again. The rest of the matches tonight are going to be featured on youtube.com/COD Challengers. UYU, Texas Nation, Game 5, 2 and 3 seeds battling it out to see who will face the Stallions in the winners finals and who will play Bearclaw down in the lower bracket. Either way, that's going to be it for myself and Cash here on ClutchGG. Thank you to everybody in production who has made this possible, from our observers, of course, to production as well on our main stream. But again, that's going to do it for us here tonight. It's been a great time bringing you both the European and the North America Challenge Elite Series here for Stage 2. Again, youtube.com/COD Challengers is where you can find the rest of the matches here tonight. We say thank you for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic night. And again, more Call of Duty tomorrow. Not here, but of course on the COD Challengers game page. That will be the ending of Stage 2. We'll figure out who's going to be the winners, who will be moving on, and of course, which teams might be making a roster change come Stage 3. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. Either way, we'll have to wait and see. My name is McCoy Mill. Again, with me is Cash. We'll see you next time here on ClutchGG.